Johnny, you there?
Yeah, I did hear you.
But I know they see your face. So where I go press C.
You know your camera there on.
Right now I go off. Let me see. It there
Yeah,
on now.
hello.
Yeah, Selassie.
Yes, last we did hear you.
Can you guys see me?
No, we
No, we
cannot
know they
see
see you,
you.
but we did hear you.
Do we have to log in or something?
No. Hold on. Just hold on. Let me see. I unmute you. Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, hello. Mr. Johnny, can you hear me?
Yeah, Selassie, I can hear you.
And Mr. Mr. Fiano.
Yeah, I can hear you.
But I can see kind of an echo at the background, like
All right. So hold on. Let me just take off this. Is it okay?
yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I
Good.
can hear you loud and clear.
But I can't
Good. I
see
can.
you.
You can see me.
Mm-mm.
No, none of us can see you.
Wow.
But can you see both any of us?
Yes, I can see you. I can see Lassie.
Yeah, we can't see ourselves.
Oh,
We
you
can't
can see.
even see ourselves. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Hold on. I don't know. Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I think if we can get the viewers to comment, if they can hear us and see us, that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I minimize the screen, I can see myself.
Okay.
It's like I don't see it. There's a place to stream this to your audience or something like that.
Yeah, that one just gives you access to be able to screen to your audience as well.
Oh, okay. In case,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh, because I can see you, I can hear you,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, you cannot see me, you cannot hear
Mm-mm.
me.
I cannot see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Um.
Okay,
Wow.
Selassie,
Uh-huh.
on the back end, on Facebook like any other user, but there is no image of you.
Yeah, there's no image. Yeah, there's no
Yeah, but
image.
I see people typing though.
Yes. I don't know what is happening. This is technology. Let's see. Let me tweak. All right, hold on. Let me just take off this. Hello, viewers. Bear with us. Just give me a few minutes to tweak this again. And let's see. Just a minute.
Yes,
All right.
last I can see you now.
You can see me now?
Yeah,
All right. All right.
Yeah.
but I okay. We cannot see ourselves, but I can see you.
Oh, okay. Good.
That's
Good.
fine.
Let me just change the layout. Is that
Okay. Yeah, that's
great?
perfect. I can see myself. I'm
Good.
here to see Augusta Lassie.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Beau-
Hey,
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that
longest time I don't see this face. South Carolina bogus.
big, big.
Now, and the
Anyway.
sound is good, right?
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Selassie,
Yes.
and my other Selassie.
Yes.
My,
Welcome.
thank you, and
This is
greetings to all the viewers and those online.
yep. Viewers, thank you for joining us this morning. It's an honor to come your way. And we promise to have a conversation this morning, a very informative conversation. And technology was just trying to get us back, but everything is now on stream. Thank you for coming and thank you for joining us. I hope we all have our notes, books, we have our pens and pencils to write something so that you don't miss out on anything. Okay. All right. So today I have with us Mr. Adinira John, who is a science teacher in the United States, and also Mr. Fiano Selassie, who is also a science teacher in the United States. And these are all Ghanaians who came from Ghana using the Teach Abroad program that we all joined, the J1 Exchange Visa program. And they have been here for long. In fact, they have been here before I came. So I see them as the grandpapas of the land. Yes. Not the grandpapas we know. These are the refined grandpapas of the land. Yes. And today is an honor to have them on board. It's an honor to have them on board and for this great conversation. So I will encourage all of us who are watching to share the link and invite others to listen, especially those who want to, as we say, Jakpa, to better their lot. Those who are coming to school, those who are coming to teach, those who are coming to, do anything business wise, who are coming with skills, whichever way you are coming with, you need some of these things. You need to hear this today. So please share. We are streaming live on YouTube as well. So you can go to my page on YouTube, mro.com, and you can stream from the YouTube. Those of us who are on Facebook too, we can share the link to others. And let's see. So as I've introduced my guests, I want them to have their first word. So I'll go with Mr. Adinira first.
Okay, all right. Good morning to you all
Good morning. Good
from our
morning.
side. Yes, and I'm very excited to be here. I've heard so much about Mr. O and his works he's been doing, and so today it's our turn to also share our experiences. Anyway, I've been teaching science for all my life, I think so. When I
Wow.
started teaching, yeah, and currently I'm teaching science here too. So
Okay.
I hope we'll have a fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. John. Mr. Selassie, you want to introduce?
Anyway, sorry about all that back and forth. I was just trying to change location and background in a couple of times. So
Yeah, if you can give us a little,
apologize to your viewers.
If you can be in
But,
a little bit for us.
can you hear me?
We can
Is it
hear you,
better?
we can see you, but we just want it to be a little brighter.
Brighter.
Yeah, if you can.
Okay, I'll work on that. But okay, thank you. I'll work on that. Anyway, good morning to your viewers. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
It's a wonderful experience to be here for the last, I think, 8 years, and we've had a couple of conversations back and forth on what you're doing out here, and we appreciate that. You're trying to really help our brothers and sisters from back home to try and get some type of footing in the United States, be it for work or for business. But myself, I've pretty much been a teacher as well. 13 years of teaching in all, but 5 of it in Ghana, some in the Ghanaian system, some in the Cambridge system, and then a little bit of finance. So that's my background. And I moved to the United States in 2015. So that's been my story too. Nothing crazy.
You're right.
Thank you. For the past 8 years, and you've been teaching for at least 15 years and over, and we really appreciate that. And Mr. John too has been teaching science all his life.
Mm-hmm.
all his life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, before we get into the main topic for today, I mean, because you guys have been teaching for long and you've been here for long, so at least you have a deeper insight of things and how things work in the United States, both in the education system and in the mainstream life in the United States. So before we get into that, all we would like to start with Mr. John. If you want to tell us a little bit why and how did you get here? And you left Ghana the last 8 or 7 years.
I mean, 7.
So what were the conditions back then that you decided to leave? Because people are now realizing that, oh, things are not good, we want to leave. But if we want to follow our elders, back then was good, the old days were good, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
why did you decide to come to the United States?
All right. Thank you, Mr. O. I hope it's clear, right?
Yeah, you're
Can you hear
playing.
me loudly? Okay,
Yes.
good. This is a big, I mean, question.
Mm,
Why I left Ghana? Actually, at the time I was leaving Ghana, it wasn't like maybe there was that much of a pressure on me to leave the country.
mhm,
I'm somebody who loves change, and I've gone through all the ranks. I've gone through teaching at a basic school,
mhm,
um, gone to teach in the college.
mhm,
I've also taught in the high schools. So I've tried it all. What I needed as an addition was to have an international experience.
mhm,
So all um, my 7 years I spent in high school, I was like, okay, I would love to travel outside the country as well to have an educational experience as to how the educational structures
mhm,
are in different countries.
mhm,
United States was one of the countries that came on. I mean, kept ringing a bell. So we started looking around. What opportunities are there in the United States for us to go?
mhm.
So one thing was my friend, that is Vikansa,
Okay.
who were trying out, and a friend of ours showed us an article in the Ghanaian newspapers
Mhm,
that they need teachers in the United States. So we decided that, hey, why don't you give it a try? We
mm,
tried the first year, it didn't work because the site was not was obsolete.
mm.
So we decided to try it again. So it made me go look for other companies that sponsor teachers up here.
Okay.
And finally, another friend, Benson,
Mhm,
helped me out to upload my document to the agency that brought me here.
mhm,
Moving forward, I as well realized that um, the change that is required of every teacher, at least to travel outside,
mhm,
get experiences that you require, bring it back to your home country, and also help transform them was very, very important.
mm.
Because if you are back home, you think that everything is okay. But when you travel outside, you begin to know that, hey, you need to learn a lot to be able to sustain yourself and as well as also help others or
Mm,
reach out to others who need that type of help. So that is how I actually got here. I mean, I
mm.
think we'll talk about the preparations and all how we were able to put together
Yeah,
documentations and everything in the subsequent discussion. So I think that was the motivation just for a change
mm.
and kind of having an international experience in teaching. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So basically you mean you've had all, you've tasted all
Yeah,
from
I've gone through the ranks from the all the class. I mean, seeing we've traveled around the country, see
mm,
how Ghana educational system looks like, and I mean, sometimes you feel you want to kind of bring a change to the system, but how are you able to impact that or bring about the change
yeah.
if you don't have any comparative, I mean, evidence to support your argument? So
Mm,
we look at, okay, I would love to travel out and have an opportunity to experience that. So when the I saw this agency, I
mhm,
applied, and went through the rigorous interviews and documentations. And hey, I'm here.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Mm.
And I guess we are going to go into a little bit of your experience,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
then we'll see.
Yeah.
Mr. Selassie,
Yeah.
decided to change because Mr. Johnny was like he needed a change. He has experienced it all. He has seen it all. He has taught in the elementary, GSS, high school. He has gone through all the ranks as a teacher in Ghana. He has been to the breadth and length of the country, basically. And it was a change, the quest for change, that initiated this whole idea of him coming here. Was it a quest for change for you also, or you it was because of the cash?
If we go cash, I'll be sincere with you. Today, it may not seem a lot. If
Mm.
I give you the number of what they gave us back then, it was
Yeah.
pretty small. So I don't think it was more of the cash. It was about the experience.
Okay.
I think it was similar to Mr. Johnny. I did SOS and
Okay.
my minor in Kumasi.
Mhm.
Actually, I did my internship with them after university.
Okay.
Then I switched out to finance totally for national service. And then I came back to SOS, but to the Kumasi version. So I did pretty much the basic school, what they call middle school here, up until ninth grade, which is JSS 3 in Ghana. I did that for 2 years, 2.5, I think. And I felt I wanted to do more. It wasn't as challenging as I thought it would be. So there was the drive to push harder. So I sought to look into Cambridge schools, and then I got the opportunity by God's grace to go to British International School at the time, where I think they're located in East Legon Hills now. So we started with an old campus in East Legon, taught chemistry there at the Cambridge level. It was then I felt really stretched, and the rigor had come, what I was looking for. Sometimes you want to be careful for what you ask God for, it will be
Yeah.
given to you.
Mhm.
So I did get it, but it had to now give me a little bit of sleepless night because students at that level, A level, the capacity and the content was demanding. You have to prep, you have to do a lot reading, and go into class and give your students a good value for the money they pay in those systems. So I did that also for another 2.5, but both the AS and IG before uh, I felt, well, can I get another experience? Because 2, 3 years, you kind of repeat the cycle again. You kind of know the ins and out by the second and the third. And then by then, I'm either getting weary or tired or the cycle repeats and I want a new experience. So that challenge was coming again. But at the time it was coming, I wasn't even sure what I wanted for the next hurdle. So in my case, it was a slightly different scenario with the agency. I categorically said this. Mine was advertisement on a website called jobsingghana.com. I don't even know if it still works,
That's right. That's
but
why I
it
saw mine
said
too. Hmm.
it said it just said teachers needed,
Hmm.
and it withheld the institution and everything. So I just put an application in. I didn't even know what it was, and then a couple of weeks after, I got an email from Ghanaian, and then he runs me through a couple of things and tells me, okay, your details will be sent to ABC. So when information came back from the agency, eventually it was just paperwork. So my time, it was nothing about online application and all of that. So we have hard paper, applied, email scanned, email back and forth. And glory to God, 8 years down the line, we're here. So I remember that day very well, August 3rd, 2015, when I landed in Columbia, South Carolina, from Atlanta, my first entry point there, Columbia. So that is how far the Lord has brought us. But
Wow.
it's been good.
So you
I
also
think from to add to what Selassie said, it's like
yeah.
before the time he came, like 2 years before I did, and the other time they were doing direct paperwork and like that. But I think it was my year that the agency created a website. So that's why my first application didn't go through, because they were still building the website. So when even application went through, I had an email requesting me to go on their website and reapply through that. Yeah. So I think that's how things have changed. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Things have changed.
Wow. So it means there's been a lot of change because, in fact, Mr. Janu was asking about Ghana jobs in Ghana. In fact, the website I just went online. It's
Yeah.
still
It's still there.
It's
It's
still
still
there.
active.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
If Jobs in Ghana wants to actually check their database, they may have seen my CV is like 10 million.
Oh wow.
Because those were the days, the quest for a better life. It was
Mhm.
the life was way back. It was there.
Mhm.
And you were seeing jobs, you'll be applying, sending your CVs,
Mhm.
applying, you don't get any feedback.
Yeah.
Not even the fact that we have received the application and we are sorry you don't qualify. No feedback. So that was my experience with jobs in Ghana. So yours was better. At least you got a
Mhm.
response, and here you are in the United States. We thank God.
Yeah.
That was a good experience. So yours was basically the quest for challenge. I mean, you also felt this. You have experienced a different level of challenge in the British International School. I remember that school very well. The buses used to come to Lashibi, where I used to stay, and to pick the students. And we were all dreaming. Sometimes, I mean, we in the public school were dreaming, hey, when are we going to get this school bar to teach? Because I hear say that they pay money.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
We
Yeah.
were dreaming from behind. And you
But they
guys were,
didn't tell you the stress.
I'm telling you, that comes with
They
a
didn't
lot of
tell you the
stress. Yeah.
we didn't care. That time we didn't care about the stress. All we cared about
Right.
was the cash.
Okay.
Because
I understand.
you compare to the public school, you realize that wasn't any good thing. And even the outlook, the branding, I mean, it was better off than the public one. So Ubia Pesoko, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
So that is
And
good.
you're very right, because I remember my very first salary from SOS. It was cash. I received it in hand, cash, 450 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
Your first salary, right?
first salary.
And that was good.
Yeah.
2010, September
Yes.
30th.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's wonderful. So you've been here for 8 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Be teaching science, and how is the teaching like in the United States for you, especially as a science teacher? Because I remember back then in school we had labs, and these were science resource centers. I went to Koforia Tech, and it was a science resource center. So at least
Quite
it
resourced. Yeah.
resourced. We had a whole science block built for us, and it was resourced with the system and everything. What about you, Mr. Afiano? How was it? And if you compare here, I mean, because you said you were teaching chemistry, you move into science and all that. So if you can walk us through just a little brief, yeah.
I think in terms of, you mean materials, right? And the experience of just the labs. Yeah. I think it's not too different. The only difference is here you are careful in doing it, because don't talk to me about teaching here when you haven't talked to me about class management. That's the first thing I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Nothing goes down when class management is not right.
Absolutely.
So kids must earn your trust. You must earn their trust to the point where you can now carry out those, because the safety ramifications are more if you carry it out and something goes down. But we don't deal with that kind of challenge back home in Ghana, be it public school or Cambridge system. Generally, the motivation for, even though I think in public schools in Ghana, the motivation is higher, where kids are more ready to learn than considered, quote and unquote, the Cambridge system, because they are considered privileged kids.
Yeah.
The quest and the motivation is still there considerably than here. So if it's about labs, I would say I've done more back home. And I categorically told you, it took me 3 years to even do my first titration in this country. And it had to be done in a class of 6, where it was just chemistry 2 students. So it's not something that you can be able to get up and do. I mean, yes, you may have the drive, you want to do it, have a little good time with the kids, but the after effect, are you ready? Are the kids ready? So in that circle, I would say they are well equipped. There are a lot of machines you go into a lab and you will see that I've never seen before. We only read about in books. But you come here, you see them for real. But do we get to use them? In some cases, yes. It depends on the circle of students you teach. If you're teaching chemistry to students who are a little older and a little more disciplined, and they would have already gone through some stages of high school development and in themselves are a little motivated, then those are groups that you will kind of target. If you're teaching AP chemistry, those which is compared to British system AS level. So in that circle, trust me, the labs will be done and done predominantly, and you would enjoy. But if you come in, which most international teachers come into, most teachers are not giving honors classes, AP classes, chemistry 2 classes on the first year or two. No, you have to work your way through to the top. So, quote unquote, I say you are fed to the lions first. Let's see how you survive. And if you make it through, then hopefully you are able to do labs. So I always say when they give you the little ones or the challenging students, it's actually a test of your resistance and capacity to manage and be able to trickle down some instruction and some teaching and learning. And if you pass and are successful at that, most often than not, it opens the opportunity for bigger opportunities in the same circle of school or in another school. So in that circle, I'll say labs are better in Ghana and more frequent. But if you get the right circle of students here, you would actually do more and more complex ones compared to the Ghana versions.
And that is a very serious twist, because all of us coming, I mean, most people will say, oh, here is well resourced more than Ghana, and I had access to that, this here better than Ghana and all that. So this is a very, I mean, serious twist for you, because in Ghana, you were able to send keys to the lab frequently. I mean, you, in fact, you were basically living in the lab, because all my chemistry teachers, their offices were in the lab, so their life was there. But here, it has to take an honors class or an AP class for you to be able to do certain level of lab work with them.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. But I mean, in terms of the resources, they have it more. Yeah. And is it one thing to I must also say is you were in the Cambridge system, where we assume they had everything, I mean, set up, unlike the public level. So Mr. John will be able to give us a different
public sector perspective, yes.
From the yes. So Mr. John, if you take it from there.
He's the database teacher, you know. The database teacher. He teaches the database and all those kind of things. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to the I mean the Imokoro guns. LAD and stuff like that. All right. Looking at it, I think comparatively, Ghana began to put in some interventions in terms of science by creating these science resource centers all over the country. I think my school where I used to teach, Mount Sinai High School, was one of the beneficiaries. And I think I must be proud that I was very instrumental in bringing that resource center to that school, because we had to go for them back with it. Absolutely, they nearly took it away from my school, and with my assistant headmaster, Mr. Ayukwe, and others who supported it, we made sure that we had a resource center in our school. That said, it means that we had most of the materials that we could use for our labs. The question is, how are you able to use it? We have not been trained at that time. So science resource, again, I mean, open up some training sections. We spent about 2 weeks in Kumasi to go through that training to be able to man those centers. Yes, but that is to the high school level. When you go down, trickle down to the basic school, the question is, do they go through any labs? Do they understand what the labs are? Because here at 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, if I tell you the number of labs that we've run for the past years I've been here, I mean, some of the labs I have to go and even read about it to be able to execute it. Okay, because some of the equipment I've not encountered before, I haven't used them before. So I have to do a lot of research, get understanding before I can use it. So the difference is between that is down there, priority. What are
Mm.
we teaching our kids?
Mm-hmm.
What are we teaching them? What is the essence? If you walk to the classroom, what are you going to do? What are you teaching? Whatever you are teaching, how relevant is it to the real world? All
Mm.
right. I encounter most of the teachers down there, and unfortunately, I think the motivation is very low. So people become teachers not really wanting to be. So they walk into the classrooms and they have to teach what is in the syllabus without they themselves maybe understanding why they are teaching it. Okay. So when you do that, the kids may not grasp the thing the way you want them to because you yourself you are not motivated to do it. And
Mm.
one good thing about the Ghana system is because the kids in Ghana are intrinsically motivated to come to school, you
Mm.
have them ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in discipline, the kids are ready. They are quiet. They want to listen to you. Okay, so you just walk in to teach.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I mean, most schools, but some schools you can, if you haven't experienced some of the schools, I mean, if you go to most schools, you need to motivate them extrinsically,
Mm.
all right? Because here it is mandatory for a child to be at school. So the
Okay.
child will be at school not because he or she wanted to be there, but it's because by law he has to be there. So if by law he has to be there, he's not motivated to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there because the law requires him to be there. So how are you able to reach out to this child to have that confidence, that link? So as Selassie said, the
Mm.
trust. You should
Yeah.
build trust between the two for him to understand what you're saying and also get involved in whatever is going on. So
Yeah.
the two different settings are, I mean, the two different the settings are different.
Different.
Yeah. You know, I could walk into a Ghana classroom and just begin to teach. Here, when you walk into the classroom, you need to do one thing:
Mm.
manage the students.
Mm.
So if your management of the student is not good, you cannot be successful. You
Wow.
cannot. Yeah, because that is the layer. You need to cross that before the trust will be built. So the question now is, how do you manage the students?
Mm.
Okay, what are the classroom controls, management skills? That
Mm.
is one thing we need to acquire even before we leave the country, Ghana, to travel to the United States. The excitement is there when you get, I mean, a first school, they interview you, you tell them what it is. Now you get your visa and you're coming in. First of all, you know that that classroom needs to be managed. You have to win their trust. They have to win your trust in
Mm.
order to be able to do that. So, may I say that we have a lot of equipment here, and here, for example, the resources are such that you can request for it, and it doesn't have to go through a lot of bureaucracies for it to be delivered. You can
Mm.
reach out to parents here. My email, for example, has an Amazon link to it. So I've made a wish list on it. So parents, when they send them email, they go to my wish list and look at the things possibly I'll be needing in my classroom. And you could see parent kind of buying them and sending it to my school and to my classroom, my lab, for example, for us to use.
Wow.
Yeah. So sometimes here the parents are quite. It depends on the school though. Some are quite, I mean, supportive as to what you need for your labs. But compared to basic schools and I mean some high school, they are challenged with resources in Ghana. So it makes it quite difficult for them to um, kind of translate what they even understand into reality for the kids. Because in Ghana, I have to download all my videos
Mm.
to be able to teach them.
Yeah.
But here I don't have to do that. I just have to go to the board, click on it. Okay, you don't understand what I mean, right? Okay, let's go to the board. All right, click on YouTube. I play the video to them. Oh, this is what you're talking about? Yeah. So internet access is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the differences that you could have in Ghana.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to also look at is relational, I mean, topics.
Mhm.
We need to redesign our curriculum in Ghana, because we were staying so many things that the child finishes school and cannot use it for anything.
Mm.
And also, yeah,
Good.
because
That topic is
yeah,
a broader topic that we need to sit on. I
yeah,
mean, one day we just have to sit on it, and if
yeah,
we bring in
yeah,
those who have been managing anyone who have been managing this particular
yeah.
system,
I don't
we
think, I mean, with that, I don't think it's their fault though, because the training they give them is making them more, I mean, for foreign,
Mhm.
because if they move out, they're able to get successful, but
Yeah,
yet they don't get a use for them down there.
yeah.
You
Because
understand what I mean?
anytime you mention the curriculum,
Yes, yes,
it ticks me off, and
yeah.
I'm getting to that mood already.
Mhm,
So I just
mhm,
want to reserve that topic
It takes
on
me off.
good
yeah,
day. We must break it down, digest it.
absolutely, yeah.
Look, you take your science curriculum.
Mhm,
I will take my math
yeah,
curriculum. We sit down, we look at it. We just do basic comparison
yeah,
and the basic way of delivering these
yeah.
same topics.
Mhm,
As I said, you have access to the internet. So if you are talking about digestive system and the kid, you don't have to talk about it in abstract.
yeah,
You just go online, open it, and there are even 3D videos,
yeah,
dimensional videos that you can easily tell the kid this is what happens when you are talking about digestion or when you are talking about this. So I think that is a broader topic because that one, if you go into it today, we will not finish. A lot of people are getting angry at it. A lot of people are
Mm.
settling with it. I mean, back in the day, we settled with it until we saw something different, until we experienced it and we felt this is it. Now, you were talking about, I mean, the two of you mentioned management.
yes,
Ma- I want us to just zoom into our main topic for today, which
mm,
is the mistakes.
yeah,
So I don't know which direction you want to take it from. You can take it from, depending on your list, you can
yeah,
take it any of the angles. One, you have been here for, I mean, more than 7 years. I mean, let's see, more than 5 years.
yeah,
And you have experienced different type of students. You have experienced different levels. And you have experienced teachers coming in and going out. You just want to walk us through. I'll give Mr. Johnny, because you're already on the floor, I'll start with you. Based on what you have observed, what you have seen with your interaction, starting from the management purpose, because I realize that it's a common word throughout, even throughout
mhm,
the application process, it's a common word that you are going to experience. The interview questions they are going to ask you, how do you manage your class? And I tell my people that, look, it is not about management how we saw it back home in Nigeria, in Africa, in Kenya, is not the same as we are experiencing here,
yeah,
because the kind of students you are handling are different. The culture is different, the mindset is different, and the future plans, the quest for why they are in the classroom is totally different.
yeah,
So for each one, the style is different. Even we as educators, we've been taught. I mean, we all have teaching skills, we all have our teaching style. So I want to start with you. Which some of the just walk us through some of the big mistakes. I said big because you have lived the life in fact, you were directly involved in the settling of a lot of teachers.
yeah.
So you have a first class hand in, I mean, receiving them right from the airport, keeping them with you, walk to the classroom and all that. So I want to start with you. Just start with us.
All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. O, and the viewers, and also if you are listening. I mean, I think the first thing we look at is, I mean, from home.
Hmm.
As I ended on the, if you receive your visa and you're about to
Mhm,
come. First of all, you need to understand that the salary you see on your whatever your DS 2019
mhm,
is a year, it's an annual salary,
mhm,
and the taxes and all those things haven't been calculated. They have not been included in those things. I mean, you haven't been, it hasn't been broken down to that level for you to understand it. You could walk in here and you look at the money and you say that, oh, I'm being paid like um maybe I mean,
10,000 Ghana cedis.
I mean, like they're going to pay me like 10,000 Ghana cedis, and I
Yeah.
mean, who in Ghana receive 10,000? I'm going to be rich in a few weeks or something like that. That is good. That is an. I mean, you feel the feeling that will motivate you to fly yourself out of the country and come here. However, you should understand that first of all, you need to do
Mm.
everything possible to retain your job.
Hmm.
Jobs are given annually, contracts are signed annually. So the
Yes.
fact that you are given 3 years of exchange to be here,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean they are mandated to keep you in a classroom there for 3 years, even though you can't deliver.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So preparing yourself in Ghana is key. One, you need to read a lot. Read
Mm.
about the culture in the United States, where you are going, where you don't even have anybody. Read about the classroom system. Okay, read and ask questions. Ask
Mm.
those who have been here before. Ask them things that you need to bring along, things you need to know. And also, sometimes we the Ghanaians, we are closed. We are kind of narrowed down to only the areas we are specialized in.
Mm.
Okay, I'm a biology chemistry. Okay, I majored in biology. All
Yeah.
right, I minored in chemistry. But I came here and I'm teaching more physics stuff.
Wow.
Okay, because
Wow.
my background is science.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm teaching more physics stuff, astronomy, earth science. You're doing
Mm.
forces and motion, and all those things that was pure what physics
Mhm.
and earth science. You're doing astronomy. You're teaching all that. My level of schools, I mean, the schools I'm teaching, I'm not doing anything even in biology.
Hmm.
So if I didn't have a broad knowledge in all this that I'm teaching, I would have been handicapped, right? The
Wow.
first time I came here,
Mhm.
because the first time they gave me my, I mean, the stuff I need to teach you. I went through it. I said, "Where's biology?" There was no biology in it. The class I was teaching, I wasn't going to teach biology for the entire year. One unit that came was even um what was talking about fossils. That's it.
Wow.
So if you are not somebody who's versatile, who reads a lot, who opens up, okay, you might be handicapped when you come here. So that's the first thing.
So
And yeah,
the first mistake you observe is the closeness of mindset.
absolutely.
They
We are
are
we are too
limited
narrowed. Yeah,
to where they are. So I did
yeah,
physics in school, so that
yeah.
is it.
That
I
is it.
did science, so that is
Yeah,
it. I'm teaching
yeah.
algebra, so that's
Yes,
it. If they
that's
give
what
me,
you've been teaching.
I
Yeah.
can't teach. If
Now,
they give me anything, I can't teach.
you know, you got to be open, because immediately you are like we were trained like science education, so physics, biology, chemistry, all those things are embedded in it. So you have to be ready to
Mhm.
deliver. But possibly we're teaching biology for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you come here, you may not have the biology to teach. You may be teaching physics, I mean some aspect of
Physical
physics
science.
and
Yeah.
or chemistry. So you have to quickly divert quickly and do some reading, more reading, and get back on track. Another thing mistakes we do is when we look at the salary, as I was indicating, we
Mm-hmm.
forget to look at the our accommodation.
Hmm.
Here, the sponsors don't provide accommodation for you. They support you, they help you to look for get accommodation, which will be paid for by yourself from the money that you'll be paid. So we advocate for sharing. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, if you have a big family also who wants to come with you, that is where sharing becomes quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are coming by yourself, then we advocate for sharing. And you have to know that that amount of money is going to be taken from your salary. So when you take it out, you should know that this is how much is going to be left for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to do all these works here, both in South Carolina, North Carolina, and other places that these agencies and teachers. What happens is you need a car.
Hmm.
Definitely, we need a car
Wow.
because the bus systems, the train system in these states are not efficient.
Hmm.
Okay, as it is in some other big cities like New York and other places. So here you need to drive from your school to work. I mean, from your home to work all the time. So you need a car. You need to factor that in too. You need to look at your utilities, water, I mean, um, waste, and also look at electricity. You have to look at all that. So you need to break down all that to appreciate what it is you're going to be spending here,
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't get frustrated when you get here.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, you'll be able to settle in, but the first few months you need to work on these things. Get appreciate. I mean, you need to get appreciation of what is required of you to provide. I
Mm.
mean, to spend here. When that is said, then you also have to. Some of the times we forgotten that the program is a cultural exchange.
Mm.
It is not a citizenship program, award program.
Mm.
So that if you are coming to United States, the first thing, oh, I need a green card, I need to have my citizenship, and that is not the essence of the program. It's an
Mm.
exchange, cultural exchange program. So it's a 3 years extension, 2 years. So the extension is not even mandatory. It depends on your school district. That will determine, okay, this guy has, I mean, performed so exemplary. So we will need him for the next 2 years. Then they extend your stay for you. So the
Mm.
mindset, first of all, should be that this is a cultural exchange. You are coming in to learn, and there's a possibility of you going back.
Okay.
Okay, that should be the first thing. And when you enter here, then you also have to understand that there are cultural differences
Hmm.
between the kids of the United States and the Ghanaian community. So you need to understand them more than they understanding you,
Wow.
because you are coming into their system and all they know is the American system.
Wow.
Okay. So all they know is the American system. So if you come in and you think that they should understand you, that you are coming from Ghana, hence you have a challenge. So they should understand. No, that's where the management comes, which Selassie is going to talk about.
Mhm.
All right. That's where the management comes in. Because first of all, our major um handicap is
Mm.
accent.
Accent. Okay.
Yeah, we have an accent.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the major handicap. So as you walk into the classroom, hello guys, how are you? Oh, he has an accent. Where are you from? That throws off everything before you even start. Where are you from? Oh, you from Africa? Okay. Do you have lions there?
Absolutely.
So those are the things that will come in, and you can lose them or still keep them.
So
Yeah.
are you suggesting that we should start twisting our tongue
No, you
and
don't
to
have to.
Necessarily.
You
speak
don't have
like
to
that?
twist. You don't have to twist. You
Okay.
have to build a confidence. So you should have it in mind that you already have an accent.
Mm.
So it's a major, I mean, handicap challenge to you. Okay. So
Okay. So I
kid,
think let me drop this real quick.
yeah,
So for those of us from Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, anywhere in
yes.
Africa, when these people here say we have an accent,
Hmm.
it's basically to tell you that they cannot understand what you are saying, because
Yes.
we have a way of speaking.
Yes.
They also have their way of, and the vocabs are all different. So that is what they mean, because accent is just like the way a group of people speak. But at the end of
Hmm.
the day, because ours is different
Yeah.
from
Different
theirs,
culture. Yeah.
they hear it differently. They can't
Yeah.
even hear. They think you are speaking too fast.
Yeah. To us,
That-
to them, they think we are speaking too fast, and to
Mhm.
us too, we think they're also speaking too fast.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So first thing, we have to acknowledge it's not about you working on anything. You can't do anything
Mhm.
about your accent, because
Mhm.
it's you were born with it. So you have to acknowledge it, that hey, I'm coming here with an accent. So what
Mhm.
I do to them is that, you know what, I acknowledge it on the first day. I say, class, yes, my name is Mr. John Adiniro. I come from Ghana.
Mhm. Mhm.
I must make it clear to you that I have an accent. So if I speak and you don't understand, just raise your hand and ask for clarity.
Mhm.
You understand? Yes. So you break that barrier. of you acknowledging to them that you have an accent. So now they
Yeah.
know that, oh, this guy has an accent. So we're going to, that's how you win their trust gradually. You tell them, hey, you also have an accent to me. To me, you have an accent, but I'll
Yeah.
make sure I understand you when you speak. And if
Mm.
I don't get it clear, I mean, if I don't understand you, I'll definitely ask for clarity. And
Mm.
they know that, okay, now you guys are vibing on the same frequency. So
Mm.
that's very important. So acknowledging it is fair. Don't come and twist it. I mean, you mess your day up if you come and start twisting your tongue and all that. Speak the way you speak. You usually speak from Ghana and
Mm.
just be in a classroom with it. So, said, looking at the salary, looking at accommodation, getting your car and everything ready. Then I think Celeste will continue from there.
So
Having to, yeah.
before
Okay.
we
All
jump
right.
to Selassie, I
Mhm.
want to ask. So in terms of the accommodation,
Yes,
in terms of the transportation,
yes,
what has been your experience with some of these new teachers? Because you have, from the little I know, you have
yeah,
directly worked with a lot of them
yeah,
in helping them to settle.
yes.
What are the pitfalls? What do you see is one of the biggest mistakes that they make? That those who are preparing to come, because I know a lot of them have been given schools already.
Hmm.
People are still waiting. Somebody has put on the page that he's waiting for his principal interview.
Okay.
A lot of them are going to come this year. What do you consider the major mistakes they make in respect to accommodation and transportation that you think they must change? Yeah.
All right. So with regards to accommodation, I think one thing I mean, some of us refuse to acknowledge is how much it cost.
The
Okay.
cost.
Yes, the cost of it. And secondly, how are we able to share the cost? If it will be very nice if you have, possibly those who have had interviews already and they are preparing to come, if they have a group chat, for example,
Mhm.
they can begin to request for sharing.
Okay.
Sharing reduces a lot of financial stress on you at the
Mm.
beginning. That is why it's advisable, even if you are married or whatever it is, to come in alone first.
Why do you
Settle
have
down.
an example of people who don't want to share or who came
Yes,
in?
I've had experiences with people
Mm.
who were like, "Oh, my family will be coming the next 2 months, so I don't think I want to share with anybody." So they will go in for the big price. And let me
Mm.
tell you one thing. Let me be raw with you.
Mhm.
Um, Accommodation now for two-bedroom house, possibly in South Carolina, is ranging between 1,200. I mean, I don't think you're going to 1,000 to about 1,400, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a two-bedroom house. And we are paid bi-weekly. Okay. So if you are first degree holder, you're going to be paid, I mean, roughly around maybe 1,800 or 2,000, or roughly about 1,800 or 1,500 by 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. So let's say 1,500 in 2 weeks. Okay. So your accommodation alone is taking 1,002. You are left with how much? 300.
Mm.
If you have your car insurance, you have to pay monthly. You have your if you buy a car on loan, you have to pay it monthly.
Mhm.
Okay. Then your utilities and all that comes in to it.
Mhm.
So you need to factor your internet. You have to pay for internet. You have to pay for your phone, services and all that. So I'm advocating for sharing. If you share, the internet comes into the house. Maybe it's about $60, $70. If you are two if it's two-bedroom, you share it. So you split a bill into two. If the accommodation is 1,002, you split it into two, 600 each.
Mhm.
So that you'll be paying 600. Use that to build yourself for a
Mm.
period of time, okay, for like 4 5 months or 6 months, when you are grounded and know that you
Mm.
are financially stable. Then if you have any idea of bringing a family in or whatever it is, then you bring them on board so that the family do not become a burden on you.
Mm.
Yeah, it become a burden on you. Yeah. So those are some of the things. And also some may come in who are very well prepared. because I
Okay.
think the agencies ask you to, get amount of about, I don't know, 5,000 or something like that.
Mhm.
And some will be like, if I have 5,000, why would I be coming to United States to do? Yeah, it is not that you have 5,000 and spend it in Ghana. When you come here, you're going to make more than that 5,000 that you're going to be talking about. However, it is just to start with. Uh-huh. Start you with it. Some agencies give
Basically,
you loans.
they just don't want to start small. Some of them
Yes, yeah.
think because
They
I've suffered enough
absolutely. Yeah.
in Kenya or I've suffered in South Africa, so
Yes.
I've come. I have to start big. I have to the
Yeah.
American dream.
Yeah, the dream, American dream is there. Selassie knows much of the American dream. I've been teasing more about that. But the point is that he does my financial stuff for me. So when you know about you're coming to America, for example, everybody's dream to be here. It is
Mm,
good. However, we are telling you how it is so that when you come in, you'll be able
mm,
to fit in well and have less stress.
mm,
Okay. So when you come in with that dream, I have to start showing them pictures of big places. I have to live big and all that. You don't earn enough to make that to live that lifestyle. Okay. So you need
mm,
to settle in, as I indicated, you need to secure your job. Securing your job will come from the classroom. If the
mhm,
classroom is not conducive for you, you can't manage those kids. Your life here is going to be very miserable. Okay, because you'll be having nightmares, waking up into the classroom that is chaotic. Okay, because you can't manage them, you've lost control. So
mm,
first of all, you need to work on yourself, getting your mindset ready to execute.
mm,
When that is done, you put in your accommodation and all that, then you are a little bit safe. On the car issue, as I
mm,
said, you need a car to go to work, groceries, if you want you go to church and all other places that you want to visit. You need to plan that, okay, I need, how much would it require me to buy a car? Some
mhm,
agencies will give you a car on loans and all that, but we've experienced cars, people high purchase cars and all that. It comes with a lot of challenges. I'm telling you, you'll be paying, and at the end of the day, the cars may not even be of good quality. So there are people here, like Selassie himself is here. He's very good at some of these things. Will reach out to you, get you a very affordable car that you can purchase. Sometimes you come in, if you need help. Some people help you out to even purchase in an installment, but you need to be faithful to them anyway. And by so doing, getting your cars and everything, you'll be safe. You'll be okay. Get
mm.
something within 3,000, 4,000. It used to be like 2,000 when we came.
Yeah.
$2,000 could buy a very decent car.
Mm,
However, because of the economic crisis, cars now being 4,000, 5,000. So if you have, such an amount, you'll be able to purchase a car
mm,
and you begin to use it. So it's very important for us to take note of all that. The excitement is high. However, it doesn't come that easy. I always advise that come in first, settle in, understand the system, then bring in I mean, the family to support you. Because
mm,
I definitely, if you have a family, they come in to support, they're going to start working and also going to support you in it. But if you are not settled in properly and they are with you immediately, it's kind of a stress on you a little
mm,
bit. Yeah, we don't want you to go through that. They will definitely come. Give them like 3 months, they will join you. By then you have understood the system and you'll be able to go through it nicely. And also some of us begin to listen to so many people.
mm,
Okay, yeah. When they come, oh, you've come abroad. Oh, your auntie's in New York. Oh, how much is it going to sell a car to you? Oh, it's too expensive. Don't buy it. But this auntie or uncle has been here for the past 30 years, and he or she never even helped you out to even secure a visa. The
mhm,
first thing you go in here now, they have all the supporting advice to give you and all that. They are not in the system we find ourselves. This is not just coming in for a visit. You are coming in to stay and work, and it's different. Those two scenarios are different. So sometimes listen to your inner being, listen to those who have been here and have gone through
mm,
those processes, and whatever suggestions we make to you, it is not for you to take it line hook and sinker. You to think through it. If it works for you, go ahead, take it. But we know that what we are telling is going to help you, because
wow.
those who listen to some of us have successfully um, gone through it and they are so excited about it and they are living happily. I mean, in the United States. So I think Selassie will come in with the rest,
Yeah.
and I'll be
First,
listening to you.
I just
Yeah.
want to add a little
Yeah.
bit to thing, because when you were talking about accommodation and all that, some of, because I've experienced that with some few other teachers who came last year, and they think one they started listening to these aunties and uncles and friends who they claim have been here for 30 years, 20 years,
Yeah.
that are the guardians of the land. But I always tell them, those are the people you must fear, because they know, excuse my language, nothing. Most of them have not educated themselves to that level of, I mean, if I say education, it's not about PhD, social education. They don't know even about the environment. They don't know how the system works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some of them come all of a sudden, oh, my auntie says, I shouldn't buy. Salvage cars are not good. Look, when we were coming, as you said, salvage cars some years back were very cheap.
Yeah.
Now, salvage cars are not cheap.
Yeah. Very
They're
expensive.
getting expensive because everyone has realized that it's a good option to go to. The states are not restricting you from using them so long as you can get them to a good state. So it's becoming expensive. But people are having this mindset. I remember somebody came last year, I should buy a car for him. And he doesn't like any 2010. How can he be in Ghana and be driving 2008 car? And when he comes to America, he wants to drive 2010 car. I said, no, he wants 2017. I said, my brother, your money cannot even buy that 2008 car I'm giving you. It's just a favor. But they think because they are here and they are listening to so many voices. That is one of the mistakes. I just want to chip in this. They listen to so many voices. Voices who have not worked. Some of them even don't know about the teacher program. Most of these 20 years, 30 years people have spoken to, they always say, how did it come? Hey, and you came and your job, you have job already, and you have your salary. I said, yes, I saw my salary. I knew what I was working to before I even left Ghana. And they were shocked. They don't know anything about it. And yet, that is a person who is coming to tell you, do not share a room, do not take this car, do not do that. You know? And I always feel pity for some of these teachers. So those of you who are coming from Nigeria, from Zimbabwe, from wherever you are coming from, please, the teachers who have walked the path, it is good if you are coming with a teaching program. It's good to just link with them. Then they can work with you. Even the school you are going to, maybe you may have an international teacher there. Speak with them. They are coming in as teachers, so they can tell you what teachers can do to help you. But if you want to listen to Miba Hache Fonibi, I've been here for long, and they are the grandpapas of the land, but they have not shown any grandfather attributes and anything to us. They've not shown us anything. They've been hiding all these links. Recently when I started all this, people are like, why are people sharing this thing? Because this is what people are making money of. I say, yes, the era has come. An army is rising, young intellectual people. We need to liberate minds. We need to liberate the people from this. I mean, as if somebody feels I'm the one who owns the information, so I give it bits and bits and I charge. Yesterday there was a news in Canada. Almost 700 students that are being deported from Canada back to India. 700, more than 700. You know what? They came in, they schooled, they got their postgraduate work permit, and they even was applying for their residential permit. Some even go beyond the PR. They even go beyond like what we call in America the green card.
Yeah.
And they got to the stage of getting their citizenship. Some have even
Yeah.
got to their PR. That is the stage where they realize that how they even came into the country was fake. And they are now going to return all of them back. So if you are coming and you think you don't want to listen to anybody, and you are listening to so many Miba Hatchet, I call them MBA, Miba Hatchet. They are the ones who are messing up a lot of minds of new travelers who are also coming here. You know what I mean? So that's it. I mean, Mr. Fiano,
Right.
Sorry I took your time, but I'm there to
You
chip
guys
in.
have taken the wind out of my sails.
You can start off there.
You still are an experienced man. You have a lot.
Oh yeah. He's a
said
guru.
Yeah.
You said a lot, and I appreciate that very much. And
Yeah.
just to add to the caste system, before I even talk about what I want to talk about, people have to understand that America is a system of leverage.
Hmm.
Immediately your salary hits your account, people are looking to have leverage on the salary. When I say leverage, they want a piece.
Mhm.
Hmm.
They want a piece of the cake.
Hmm.
So if you give the piece out, people will have it. Now you have to understand, as a first year teacher, when you come in, you have nothing we call a financial footprint,
Yeah.
which is you have no financial background, you've not spent here before, they don't know how you spend, your spending habits, how you behave when you see money. So you are considered high risk.
Yeah.
So if you work and want to get new cars and very expensive cars, it comes in any financial sector, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
So they slap you with heavy car payments, your
Mhm.
interest rates are higher, and you would have a noose around your neck for 5 years and be paying for a car that you would otherwise could have gotten
And so
typically
that's what you
low.
call a credit, right?
Hmm.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
credit system.
Yeah.
So I suggest, like you said, start low. There's nothing wrong with a 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 dollar car for a start. Even sharing it is even better. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. Hide yourself, start low. The most people started like that. Some did not start like that. And then eventually, when you have credit systems and the banks and the financial system can trust you, trust me, you will buy cars that are way expensive at an
Yeah.
extremely low price with a
Hmm.
very low interest rate. And I'll give you a typical example. There are people who buy cars in this country at the rate of 2%, which means for the whole tenure of the loan, about 5 years, they only pay like $2,000 or $3,000
Yeah.
for the value of the car.
Yeah.
So please, people should have patience when they get into a new system. So
Hmm.
that's about the car. But anyway, I'll start from here with the mistakes where we talk about. Now, I want people to first. I want to give a perspective first before we get into that aspect. Now, the J1 program originally is not something Ghanaians used to travel. So
Hmm.
that supports whatever Selassie and Johnny said when they told you people who have been here from Ghana originally 30 years, 40 years,
Hmm.
25 years, they did not come here on J1. J1 is not very old in the embassies of Ghana or Accra. And I'll
Okay.
tell you this because I've experienced it firsthand. I almost got refused a visa on J1 in 2015.
Wow.
Yes. So this is basically from a perspective where Ghanaians come here on winning visa lotteries
Hmm.
or dad and mom filed for them or school. That's the most common repetitive one we have for most Ghanaians who travel or immigrate to the United States.
Hmm.
So back in 2015, and I think I was on a waiting list for Faces for 1 year, I think as well. So when we started that process, uh, early 2015, thereabout, and the whole plan of visiting the embassy, I went there. They told me they hadn't heard of the program before. So who was coming from America to replace me? Because quote and unquote, it was an exchange program.
Yeah.
So the consular said she wasn't convinced and hadn't heard it before. So she won't refuse me, but she would give me 3 days to go investigate and come back. So that informs and tells me the fact that there's a US embassy and it's in Ghana doesn't mean
You know.
automatically it's J1, they will give
Hmm.
it to you. Because it was a new terrain they hadn't seen. And since I came on my sponsors program, I've already heard of one Ghanaian who was a year ahead of me. I can't even find where she is now.
Wow.
Ruby something her name was. I think she was in an email thread at some point. I tried to look for her. I just hooked up with her one time. We spoke, and I never even seen her again. So
Hmm.
it was not like something that you get a lot of Ghanaians. Oh, J1. It is now that it's getting common, and the embassy is seeing it, so it makes it easier for them to grant, and they are approving most of them when they go on the back end and check. It's not to say it is fraudulent, but it's to say that they look at it case by case
Like
in
it.
these embassies. So let's learn to appreciate that when you are coming in on a J1, which most immigrants don't come in on. I'll give you another reason. Most people, when they come in, the the social security number does not come to them immediately as quickly
Hmm.
as the way J1 gets it. J1 has a lot of fast track pathways that brings a lot to you at a faster pace than the average immigrant coming into America. Reason is because you are coming to work. And I believe my colleagues have said that. So the more they can expedite for you to get into that work role, the better, which means that is the prior and the supreme reason why you're coming here. So
Hmm.
that should be your utmost importance. That when you're coming in here, your number one and biggest thing is to be successful first at what brought you in. If you can be successful at what brought you in, trust me, all other things automatically are added sometimes along the line you don't even ask for. So that takes me to my first point: class management and focusing on workplace success.
Mm.
That's my number one biggest thing I feel teachers make mistakes on when they come in.
Say that again.
Class management and focusing on workplace success first.
Okay.
Because, like we say it here, that's what is putting food on your table. So protect it with all you got first. And I don't care if you have a side hustle eventually in America you're doing that is bringing you money. The number one prime thing that is keeping the side hustle running is your job and that J1 status. If you lose that J1 status, trust me, all of that domino effects will happen, which means it will trickle a downfall of everything else. So let people pay attention and protect that J1 and that classroom job or that teaching job with all that you have. Do it like you've never done it before. Reason I say this: classroom management was not a big deal for us in Ghana, but it's something you have to learn and learn here. Now, I'll go into some nitty gritty of it. I won't speak too much because we don't have time, so I can cover the other areas. With that classroom management and focusing on workplace success, your principal is the main decision maker in the building. So if there's anybody who needs to be reassigning you and giving you another contract for a year, that should be the man or the woman you're focusing on, the boss in the building. Before your superintendent even listens to you, they will go back to the principal on the back end if you never knew that. So bear that in mind. So when we go to these workplaces, let's try and build great relationship with our kids. So this is what I did. I'll share with you. And I had some mistakes. I paid for it the hard way. So you learn. Now, when you walk into these classrooms first and they give you a class list of who you're going to teach and what classes you're going to teach, spend some quality time. Like Johnny said, don't be closed. You are in an environment where naturally they even talk more. They talk more than you do. You can never out-talk them. So just step out of your comfort zone. Ask questions. It can be a department head or buddy teacher. Ask questions about, first thing, these students on this list, which ones do you know? Can you share with me what you know about them? They'll give you a heads up. Oh, wait, no problem. This one, the bad boy. So if you check him, this is a very good student. When I had him, he may have had this, da 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 da. All these type of things, it gives you a back end story. You may not have every information about every student on the list, but I'll tell you what, if you walk into that class that first 1 week and they start clowning you because they are laughing at the accent and where you from, all of that stuff. And like Mr. Johnny said, you have to do something, and I'll call it prophetic, for them to kind of chill and be like, hey,
prophetic.
I say that reason is because if, for instance, Johnny is my student, I know Johnny was boisterous from previous classes and whatever, I could just make a simple statement. Oh, really? That's what is going on? Y'all gonna laugh at me and my accent? Well, Johnny, I don't want us to go into what happened in Mrs. Da class 2 semesters ago. Oh, how you know that? You have to use certain cues to put a break on your students. Let them roll back a little bit and want to listen to you.
Sadly,
this is where classroom management starts. If you grab them that 1 week, you have them for the rest of the school year, for the rest of the semester. If you lose them that 1 week, trust me, hellhole for you all throughout the school year. Stress for you. You won't like Mondays anymore. You will only love Fridays at the end of the bell, and you're ready to bounce. Your stress levels will be elevated. You won't appreciate. You were so ready to get out of the building. And then it creates other problems for you. You have principals walking into your class more frequently. This is other things people don't pick. Now, once again, when you have that student or those couple of students that you have a little background story on, now when there's a disruption, try and have conversations with them like human beings. Step outside. Sometimes in the midst of their friends, they feel they are the yo man, they are the clown. They want to do everything. No, don't you won't win the battle in front of everybody. Step outside. Take the battle outside one-on-one. That's where sometimes it counts. Or build a strong relationship with the most stubborn one. Sometimes they become your policeman in the classroom. When I came in here, I thought my first job was to teach. So, oh yeah, but trust me, your first job is not to teach. Your first most important job is to keep a classroom safe for each and every single body that comes into that room. And when I say safe, it means students shouldn't feel they can be attacked by another student in the same classroom.
Yeah.
Which puts an indictment on a teacher somewhat if you have classroom fights frequently.
So it means when you are a teacher in the US and there is fights in your class, you, the teacher, you are liable.
Yes, they will break it up. Technically, you are not. You are not going to lose your job because of that. But it comes back to how did they have the opportunity to even get to that point?
Yeah. How did it start?
How did it start?
Where were you?
It's always the root.
Yeah.
Where were you? Where were you when that conversation started? Because no fight just happens out of the blue.
And what did you do?
What did you do? These are the questions. So before you focus on immigration and H1 green card, please be successful at what you do first. It's key. It will open other doors for you. It will open other doors sometimes in the same building. You don't even have to do jack. And it will move traffic in your direction like crazy.
Wow.
Another cue, you will know that you're doing well. That first year, most teachers, you either get 2 or 4 official observations, 2 announced, 2 unannounced. But in between that, you will get a lot of walkthroughs. Now, what I realized is over my last 3 years, as they have more and more confidence in you and your style, and they realize the more we come to you, the less things we have to see or deal with, they get off your back. Trust me, when American principals get off your back,
you are cruising.
Yeah, they have confidence in you.
Your piece is there. You can't buy that with any money. Then it gets to the point where now they have so much confidence in you. When visitors come, you are one of those classrooms they want to just walk in and show off. That's how the system works. Everybody wants to show their best.
Yeah.
So I can never emphasize that classroom management and success at workplace enough. I'm not saying stress about it, but the little things that you were never doing in Ghana, take them seriously now. Build a relationship with students. Get to know students beyond that classroom a little bit more. Check that behavior. Then, after that safe environment, and everybody starts to act a little normal, that is not to say that you won't have 1 or 2 days where they are all off. You may. But now that becomes like a sprinkle of something in the goodness you have going on. It shouldn't be the other way around, where the goodness becomes a sprinkle. It should be the flip way.
Just to chip in, I just want to share this experience of mine. You realize that when I came first, I was teaching in Florida, and I had my principal, my coaches, when we say coaches here, it's not like the football coach, no, the math coach or the subject you are teaching. They have people who are in charge of it. They walk into my class anytime, any day, unannounced. They don't care. They just walk in, come and stand there. They will write something. They will send me email. And I was constantly on the edge, until I built that confidence. And when I moved to the North Carolina, can you believe that surprisingly, the whole year, not even my head of department, she doesn't even come to my class.
Thank you.
And when I asked, why don't you come to my class?
They ain't got to worry about you. That's what she said.
Are you not a professional teacher? Don't you teach well? So why do I have to come and watch you to teach? And my principal has not even walked to my class the whole year. And he's like, we hear the testimonies, we hear the good news about from the kids. So no point in coming to your class. It means something good is happening there. That is why everything is ongoing. So I believe it's a very strong point. When teachers come here, the first thing is focus and your workplace success. Any other door will open, as Mr. Fiano said. Do it to the best. And guys, do not feel pompous to ask. Do not feel too big to ask. You were a PhD holder. You were the headmaster. I have a headmistress who is teaching in North Carolina. Yesterday, I was telling her that come to the show. Yes, I mean, put your post aside. You are the director one. You are director two. Put all those ones aside back home. When you come here, this is a different turf. You are coming to start teach on a different level. It's not like you don't know how to teach. As I said, we are not here to teach. It's not about how you can teach and block, make your how you back home.
I know content.
I know content. It's not about that. It's more about your management skills. The teaching has gone beyond the manual delivery of content to kids and pouring down on them. It is much more of a soft skill now. So, as you said, I just wanted to chip in there so that everybody listening, people are listening from Kenya, people are listening from Nigeria and Ghana, all over. Please take these things serious. Take them serious. They are not for jokes.
And one thing too, the funny thing I experienced, as Mr. Fianu said, was, they walk into your classroom the first, and then you think that they need to seek some kind of permission, clearance from you.
No, they don't.
Like in Ghana, they walk in and say, "Good morning." They don't. They just walk in and be like, "You do what you have to do." I think all you have to do is focus on what you are doing. Ignore them. Pretend you haven't seen them. Yeah. Just focus. That's how you build the confidence. Immediately you are scared that somebody, it's not easy. I mean, I understand also it's not easy somebody watching you do what you have to do. Yeah. So just take it easy on them, taking a deep breath and do what you have to do. Yeah, we'll get to that aspect. Mr. Sorry about it. Yeah.
Yep. So I think to conclude on that point, please, my international teachers, stop writing 15 referrals a week, 10 referrals a week. They will be taken for granted. They won't carry the weight anymore.
And what is referrals? What do you mean by
referrals? Are basically where a teacher picks a form and writes a student's wrongdoing and sends
behavior,
for behavior issue or whatever. That's why I say
out of your class, you need to write a note for that student.
Yes, and give for punishment, because you can physically, we don't do the capital punishment anymore. So, yes. So I suggest you put interventions in place. If you've spoken to the child one-on-one, it hasn't worked, change their sitting place, talk to the parent, use multiple layers of things. By that time, you have exhausted about 4 or 5 weeks of instruction before your first referral, second referral is coming. In that way, when you actually send it, it carries the weight. People appreciate, referrals didn't come to me in the first 2 weeks of school. He actually took his time to know his case, try to go through the process and get a good grip. Then when things get out of control with a couple of them, he used it. So you're using it for the right purpose. So it carries the weight it's supposed to. You're not hitting the buzzer. Those buzzers or buttons for emergencies are for real emergencies. Please stop abusing them. Because it will get to a point when your classroom number comes up on the radio, you may not get anybody coming in. These are cultures they won't tell you, but when they have conversation among themselves, they talk about it. I ain't going to that man class. He out there buzzing with their kids again. They will say it. Trust me. When you get close enough to them, some of these things, they will start exposing it. So use things for actually what they mean, which means have interventions. Get students engaged. Your lag time should be minimal. It means prepare for lessons where kids do the chunk of the work. Don't do chunk of the work. If it's a 90-minute class, please, by the time you're hitting 15 minutes, 20 minutes of talking, you are doing too much. That 15 to 20 minutes of talking or 10 to 20 minutes of talking should be pure instructions and explanation of an activity they will do. Put the weight on the children. Put the weight on the students. Let them do the doing, and you walk around and supervise. It leaves you with more time to listen and hear the things going on, or to observe body languages, things they say, and then certain cultures they exhibit. That's how you get to know them better. But if you're constantly teaching, talking to them, one, you get boring. Two, You're likely to get them on their phones, which means they're not going to listen to you. There's no consequence. After the end of the day, they'll be like, I ain't get what you're saying. I don't understand you. I don't know what you're talking about. It's straight up.
Mm.
Learn to have instructions spelled out, or let them read through your instructions and make sure they understand. After that, they do the work. And then while they're engaged, it reduces the lag time for mischief. And then when principals and assistant people come in, you don't have the stress. And you end your class nicely and you have a great day. Trust me, if this happens with a routine for 2-3 weeks, you have them locked.
Wow.
When the routines repeat, even for high school students, sometimes it may come across boring, they will complain, they will whine, but stand your ground. Stand your ground.
Hmm.
They will test you. Trust me. If there's any group of students that are more socially elite in this world, it's an American student.
Hmm.
Very outspoken, socially elite.
Yeah.
So they will
Yeah.
test you. Want to get you sidetracked. Stay focused.
Hmm.
Relax. There's no tension in the job. Communicate as properly as possible. Like Mr. Johnny said, when you get in, introduce yourself. I know I have an accent, but can you all hear me loud and clear?
Mhm.
Ask them, get their perspective on how you sound. If there's a few tweaks, they will help you tweak it. You don't have to change your accent all of a sudden to
No.
speak like an American. No, but
Hmm.
be audible enough. And that's about that class management and success part. So,
And
second one
yeah.
for me
Mhm.
is
Yeah,
living low.
Selassie, before you
Yes,
go,
go ahead.
I think the instructions, you should be
Hmm.
Very clear.
very clear with your instructions. Don't be ambiguous with your instructions, and you have to be consistent. Yes, you don't have to say A today and tomorrow. The next time you have changed your mind about it, the next moment they get when they begin to get confused, they are
You
like
don't
they
know
will
what
tell
you're
it to
doing.
your
That's the
face.
first expression. Yep.
They will tell it to your face. They are very articulate. They are very confident. They will tell you. So back in Ghana, where students will not stand up to their here, they will tell you. They will tell you that this work is not. I mean, it's not making sense.
Mhm.
You say the work is not making sense to, and it's not an insult. It doesn't make sense to the child.
Amen.
He's telling you straightforward. This doesn't make sense. It looks stupid. I mean, but hey, what do you do?
Why we got to
You have
do
to
this?
be.
Yep.
Why do you have to do this? So you let your instruction be very clear to the point. Don't be ambiguous about it. Yeah. So that's that, and consistency
Hmm.
in your instructions should be. You focus on that. Don't change your mind, even if you have to change your mind later on. Yeah.
Yep. And I think you've said that perfectly. And if you've made a mistake, be sincere to apologize.
Yeah. Acknowledge.
You can apologize. They're humans. They will take it for you and let you move on. My next one, I think Johnny spoke a little bit about that, quite a lot as well. Living low, the concept of sharing. Living low. That's for me is big.
Yeah.
It's a big, big deal. Now, for me, the fortunate thing was when I came, uh, we lived in a small town. The school was in a small town, so what they call rural demographics in America. So generally poor. So uh, rent was really, really cheap.
Mhm.
The whole rent was 450, and we shared that. So
Wow.
think about it. If you share that, it was a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. You can share that. There's nothing wrong. My only caveat, if you're coming with your family, is if you have a wife who is going to be teaching as well on a J2,
Mhm.
great. That's your greatest cheat code. Then that one, you don't have to stress about all of that. You're coming in a month or two, she follows, she may quickly get a job after processing and paperwork 4 or 5 months. But it comes back to the same thing. She may not work in your first year, but are you ready to soak that pressure for a year? Share initially until she comes and she's ready to teach with you. And
Share.
then you can have that double income and still living low.
Mhm.
Like I said, the system has been structured like that to take up the cash.
Hmm.
Rents averagely everywhere in this state and in other states have been structured where they are going for 30 to 40% of your income.
Mhm.
That's huge. I still feel bad about paying rent up to today. When I pay it every month, I feel some type of way. I don't know why. But it's just the amount. When it leaves, I don't know. I just gotta get, but
Angry.
that is what it is. If you understand, then you realize that these are things that if you can avoid for
Mm.
1 year, like Johnny said, or for even 6 months, it piles up cash or liquidity for you. Then
Yeah.
you can take up other things. So live
Yeah.
low, share cars, even if that's what it means. You may be
Mm.
going to two different schools, but if you both
Carpool.
buy it or one person buys it
Mm.
and you bounce off each other, one person pays for the fueling and the maintenance, whatever, back and forth for grocery until 6 months, 4 months, you're okay. And you get off that. It's very key that you live low.
Mm.
And I'll tell you, in our times, it was even worse than y'all. And I'll say this: the agency used to pay us. It was not the states or the schools.
Mm.
So when I came in, our salary was flat. There was no such thing as years of experience, masters. It was flat back then. It was 30,000 and nothing more. You're international. That's for the whole year. You have to manage that. Can you
Wow.
imagine that in the midst of this inflation and recession? It's
Mm-mm.
rough.
Yeah.
But you live low back then. So it still felt like an outside experience. You hid yourself. You took things slowly because you have to build capital and then build a strong backbone off which you can bounce to the next level.
Yeah.
So it is key that people have that. Then I think my other one is, yeah, I think Johnny has said that your confidence level and confidence. I'm not talking about workplace confidence, just generally out there.
General.
You're gonna be in society, you're gonna
Yeah.
be in grocery shops, you're gonna be in places where you spend time. Do
Mm.
things on weekends to relax. Look
Yeah.
up places in your community.
Yeah,
It could be as
distress.
simple as a movie theater. It could be as
Pack.
simple as a bowling center
Mhm.
or skating, something that you're not used to doing. Or, I mean, something simple, the park.
Mhm.
Relax because it is a system that works you.
Mm-hmm.
If in Ghana you are not working, trust me, you will work for that single dollar. You will grind. But at the end of the day, the joy of it is when that 2 weeks come. Sometimes you don't feel the stress when you see the balance hitting
Mhm.
Mm.
because they make very little mistakes in salary placement. So those are
Yeah.
key things that I think people should look
Should
at.
be. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Fiano. Thank you very much. In fact, you've not gone to, I'll pull you to that area, but you've not gone there yet, but I'll be pulling you there, the financial.
He has to break it down.
Yeah, you have
You
to
have to
break it
break it
down.
down. Yeah.
Big chunk. I mean, things that are in chunks. And, as I said, as you said, it's a very good thing that the program has evolved. I mean, when some of us went to the embassy, even as I said last year, a lot of the visa officers, the DS, they gave us a document we call the DS 2019.
Yeah.
Some of the visa officers, they are supposed to sign and stamp.
Mhm.
You forget.
You know that most people came last year, theirs were not signed and stamped.
Yeah.
And that was what got one Ghanaian teacher was returned back home in JFK.
Mm.
Yes, he was returned because the DS wasn't stamped. So the guy said, well, you could have
That's
picked it
unfortunate.
from anywhere. So go
Anyway.
back home and get it
And get it
rectified.
done.
So I did a video on telling people that getting the visa alone does not guarantee you entry.
Oh,
Mm.
So
no.
the entry is decided at the port of
At the
entry
port
where
of
The
entry.
port
Yeah.
of entry.
decides whether
Absolutely.
you enter or not. So people must be very cautious of that. And the involvement of a program has come to where now government is paying us directly. The districts are paying us directly instead of
Directly.
the
Yes.
agencies.
Agencies.
For your information, the viewers, Mr. Fiano and Mr. Adinira, they all came with the faces. So those of you who are on the Telegram page and you have applied to faces, please be real. I mean, just naturally, relax.
Mhm.
Be relaxed. They will definitely attend to you because the list is a lot. Mr. Johnny can tell us because it's a lot. He has worked closely with them, and it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So be patient. I saw a comment. Somebody said you're waiting for principal interview for over a month now. Please be patient.
Yeah.
If getting the principals to grant the interviews to you, it's a whole lot. Because these principals, they are not like Ghana principal where the headmaster goes to sit in the office and that's it. No, you are working. You work from 5 a.m. till everybody is gone home. So the principal is the first person to come, the last person to leave. So it is not like Ghana. So please, those of you who are waiting for principal interviews, please be patient. Be patient. Even if you are waiting for the agencies to do their first and second interviews, be very patient. Yours is to prepare. I've been able to coach some few people with other colleagues, and Mr. Johnny, Mr. Selassie, they are all available from time to time when you are billed for an interview, when you've been asked to book for an interview. Reach out. We'll organize a section for you. I mean, it's very important. You don't just walk into those interviews thinking what you know in Ghana or in Nigeria or you practice back in Kenya is what you are going to use. No, it's a different ballgame altogether. And how you process your thoughts and what you say will either make you or make you in those interviews. So I just want to add that.
Yeah, talking about interviews, I think the principal interview, I don't know if there's going to be a discussion on that, but if it's not, let me clear that part.
No, we'll do that another time. I want
Okay.
that to take a full time to that. Yes.
Yeah, and also those who are waiting for principal interviews, the school year hasn't ended as of yet. So principals are still, and most you should understand that you are not the first priority on their list. They have to look for an American teacher first to take up that position.
Yeah.
If for a period they have a time frame, the window to close. If no American teacher applies to that position you are looking for, then they can open it up for international.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any situation where an international teacher is competing with an American teacher. No.
Good.
Definitely the American teacher will be taken care of first. So all of us coming here means that our positions were not competed for by any American. So it was open for us to come. Yeah, so just take it easy on that. By May, schools will begin to open up more interviews by May, June, July. Yeah.
Even in April, I know a lot of principals.
I mean, those principals are opening for April earlier for schools that have vacancies long time ago.
Good.
Like a year ago, the vacancies were there. So nobody has yet applied for it. So they will fill in the vacancies immediately. But if the schools are now, they will give you whether or not you're going to come stay the year or not. In that case, letter of intent. If they receive the letter of intent, it doesn't even mean that the teacher will not come back. He can change his mind along the way. So by May, let contracts will be out by then. Now contracts are already out. So if by May, I think May 20 something, there's a date. If by that time you haven't signed a contract, then the principals know that you are not coming back. So they can open that vacancies and bring you. So they should be patient. I got here in August.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got here on the 12th of August. So they should be patient and things will work out for them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Even I know teachers who came in September. Some even came in as part of the so
it's a process.
It's a process. I mean, let's all be humble and trust the process. Now, I just want to chip in my own top mistakes that I think some of our new brothers and sisters are making.
Yeah.
And in fact, I may take some of the blame because I've also made some of those mistakes, because when we came in, you have less, education, let me say it that way.
Yeah.
So one thing that most travelers, and for that matter, teachers, as we are talking about, are making, when we come to the US, to Canada, to Germany, to UK, anywhere, the first thing we want to do is to start showing off back home.
Yeah.
We want to prove as if we have somebody to prove a point to back home that, hey, I've also arrived. So you are trying to buy land, build some. If you are real, you want to finish your house, you want to send a car to your mother, just to in the very early stages. I mean, one mistake that I made, and I know most people are making it in our very first stages, we want to prove a point to somebody or want to prove a point to show something. You know what I mean? I put myself in because I have also walked that path.
Yeah.
Sometimes genuinely you think, oh, I need to help this, I need to help that, I need to help that. Genuinely. But I realized that it was a mistake because I have not solidified my base. I don't have any foundation. Financially, as Mr. Fianu said, you are not credit worthy. You are a risk in the system. So nobody will trust you with their money. No credit card company wants to give you credit card because you don't have any credit. You don't have any record of financial transaction in the system. But unfortunately, we start sending money back home. Oh, yeah, you take 200, take 100, take 50.
Send the wrong messages.
Wrong. That was
Wrong
that's
impression.
Well,
Wrong
yeah.
impression.
a huge mistake that I've observed. And people that I've spoken to, they are buying land. Somebody has saved. Recently, a new teacher who has come, he has saved all the money, about $7,000. And you are sharing accommodation with somebody.
Nice.
And you are basically, because you have masters and your years of experience, your salary is slightly up.
Yes.
And instead of making those savings, forgetting that in the 3 months in summer, you are not going to be paid. He has gathered all the money, over $7,000, and sending home in bulk, just like that, buy me a land and start building for my parents. And when I heard the story, I was like, wait a minute. What impression are you trying to create? And
That
this
you can
is
afford 7,000 in a short time. So come
And-
with all your problems.
in less than 6 months, you are able to afford 7,000. What impression are you trying to create? If tomorrow things change, you have gotten into the life. Now you are living on your own. You are not sharing accommodation anymore. You are paying full rent. You are doing all that. And now the money cannot go again. What kind of pressure are you buying for yourself? I mean, that is one thing I wanted to chip in, that people should stop it. Not only teachers, everybody who is traveling, whether you are coming to work, whether you are coming to do whatever you are coming to do, please relax, build your base, know your strength, make sure you are financially stable before you can start learning hands. Because if the foundation is weak, what can a righteous do? What can you do in the first place?
What can the righteous do?
Yes, you can do nothing. Because you have not, as you said, your workplace success is not fully, complete. You are not successful in the workplace. You don't even know when that you are going to be maintained, because the contracts are being signed 1 year.
Yeah,
Each
annually.
year, annually, you sign a contract with you. So that is one thing I want to tell the teachers. Your principal is not like you are once employed, forever employed. No. I mean, I had that experience. After the first year, the principal told me, we have a budget cut because the district cannot support our budget.
And
So
international teachers will be the first to.
Will be the first to.
Yeah.
They don't care about you.
You are not indispensable.
No,
you are very, very
very
dispensable.
dispensable.
And they don't even have to explain to you. It's part of
No.
them. Yeah.
No, they didn't give me any explanation, and it was that easy, and it was very nice to them. Oh, we are sorry, we have to let you go. And I'm like, you guys are saying it so simple.
Yeah, easy.
And it hit me. So imagine I wasn't having any financial base as at that time. What would have happened to me? And I was going to have a fallow period of 2-3 months of no salary. So you have not saved for it. And you see, mind you, in those months that you are not being paid, your bills will be coming. You pay your rent. You pay your insurance. You pay your food.
Everybody wants a piece of your cake.
Everyone wants a piece of the cake. You cannot stop. So my first mistake that I observed, and I'm advising everyone that, hey, let us stop that mistake. If you're already doing it, please find a way to put a stop to it. I am trying my best to find a way to put a stop to mine. And all of us must be able to do that so that you can build your base financially. Another mistake, Mr. Fianu, it seems I mentioned it to you. Viewers, I made my list. As they were talking, I was also writing. You know, some of the things you think you know, you don't know it all. Even Solomon had counselors.
Yeah.
As he was a king, he had counselors. So please, make your notes and make sure you have them, because these are good, solid points that will help you. Even if you don't come to the US as a teacher, you can go anywhere, you'll be successful with it.
Yes.
Know the culture, share, lay low, make sure you assimilate into the culture well. Learn. I mean, Mr. Fiano, Mr. Johnny, there is one thing I've seen. A lot of teachers coming now, they don't want to learn anything about where they are going. They just walk. You know, recently I did a video about a teacher, a Ghanaian teacher, who in South Carolina was driving without insurance, and his license wasn't even full license. That is what I even learned. The license wasn't a full license. It was a how do you call it? The one they give you. Yes.
Learner's permit. Yeah.
And he ran the red light on top. So in fact, the red light he ran, that was what the police stopped him. And when the police stopped him, they realized that he doesn't have insurance. And I said, I just don't know what is it about their money. They come in, they want to spend on anything. They don't want to spend on anything. They don't want to assimilate.
They will send the money back home.
They want to send the money back
and
home.
not secure your own stay here.
No.
And you know, I think the difficulty with them sometimes is because back home you pay insurance for a year and that's it. So you don't pay insurance monthly.
Maybe here the same. You can pay it yearly. Or
but you know, based on our income, you cannot pay that yearly insurance. It's a lot of money. So look at a month. If you are paying almost like 120 or something dollars a month on it, if you multiply 1,000 to 1,000, I mean, yeah, it's a lot.
No, but if you think about it, that is one thing I was saying, that they know where they are going.
Yes, that one you're right.
In the first place, your insurance is monthly, number one. And number two, you are a high risk. I mean, Salasi mentioned it. You are a high risk immigrant in all areas.
Yeah.
In everything. So in the first place, the insurance companies think, oh, well, you don't have driving experience in America, so you are high risk.
That's why your insurance is up. Yep.
That is why your insurance is up. I know people who are paying $400, $300 as insurance, and who I'm paying $75 per car. I mean, and you see, they should relax. Take your time. The first year we all paid it. I paid over $200 on insurance for my first year. I was angry. And you know what happened? They said, the insurance guy said, the zip code where I was living is an accident-prone area.
Yes.
That is why my insurance was up.
It's high. Yeah.
Never knew.
Yes.
Never knew. When we were looking for accommodation, we were just looking for the cheapest accommodation. But at the end of the day, you got accommodation cheap, but it's going to affect you in the other areas as well.
Yeah.
Insurance, because
the risk is high in your area.
The risk is high in that area. So there is no way I was going to get any cheaper. Surprisingly, when I moved from that area, do you know my insurance dropped? I was paying, even when I came to North Carolina, I was paying $54 for insurance. Wow. Yes. And that didn't come in the first year. It didn't come in the first month. So there is always that fallow period. And to add my personal view to what Mr. Johnny and Mr. Salasi shared. Look, you said we should share. Sharing and laying low. But me personally, I want to say that people should not get comfortable in that space. Because we have a period of time. Yes, we have had stories where a lot of people got comfortable in the sharing space, and when they are being asked to move, the one who was hosting them is now being considered or looked at as mean or wicked. You came in, I hosted you for 1 month, and we were supposed to look for your own place. We got a space. I said, okay, you know what? You start paying rent to me. I'm not going to charge you full rent, maybe pay $200. And this guy all of a sudden think you don't have to charge me because we are all from the same country. So
that's ridiculous.
You cannot charge me. And I'm not even sleeping in the bedroom. I'm sleeping on your couch. No, but you are enjoying electricity. You are enjoying water. You are enjoying internet. People, please, if you come in, somebody host you.
At most 1 year.
At most 1 year. Even that, you must put in plan to be able to contribute to the house.
At most.
I know Mr. Johnny has hosted a lot of people. Selassie has hosted a lot of people. Look, when the first teachers came last year and last 2 years, I helped some of them, at least 2-3 weeks, and I even drove them to go and look for their own accommodation. And that is all we can contribute to you. Some of us will do the legwork, go and search for the accommodation. But please, if we host you, do not get comfortable in that space and think that person owes you that right to be able to host you. No. That
And
is
it's most often, not to cut you, it's most often better
Yeah.
if you share with somebody you came together with. So you're on the
exactly.
same household. After that, you
Yes.
part ways.
I think that the essence of sharing, and it should be somebody you're comfortable with as well. The
Mhm.
essence of sharing is just to get to know the system
Them.
financially before you
Mm.
step out, to even know the communities that you can easily access accommodation and all that. So if you are sharing, you should have it in mind that this sharing is maximum should be
Temporal.
1 year.
Yes.
And if you have a family coming in, then you are the one, whoever is hosting or whoever is sharing with you should know that, okay, in 6 months time my family is going to be with me, so
Yep.
I cannot be in the same house again with
Mhm.
my
Yep.
family,
Mhm.
because in a 2-bedroom house, that you should have 4 heartbeats.
Mhm.
It means that
Mhm.
you can only be 4 in that house. So
Yep.
if you have a wife and 2 kids, that's it.
Yep.
Any addition becomes
It's
no. I mean, agent. I mean, this accommodation. The people will even give you accommodation if you are more than the number of heartbeats
Yeah.
that is in there. And I think in the comments somebody was talking about they will not be paid for 3 months. I don't think we said that they will not be paid for
No.
3 months. I think what Mr. Fiano was saying was like, possibly if your family comes, you should expect that for 3-4 months if they are not working, your family is not working.
Yep.
Still, your wife or husband will not be working for 3-4 months, so you will not be
You're
paid.
carrying the whole weight.
Yeah, so you will be paid immediately. Sometimes they even give you some money before even you start work, depending on the district. Yeah, so here there's nothing like they are processing your document. No, you walk into the classroom,
No
the
back pay,
first
no back
no
pay,
back
whatever.
pay. The first 2 weeks your salary comes in. There's nothing
Straight
like,
up.
I mean, government has not signed some paper, minister
Nah,
has
nah.
traveled to anywhere. No, you are paid the very first time day you got in there. The first 2 weeks that you work, they pay you. If
Exactly.
the district have their own, this sometime at the end of the month they're going to pay you by check or whatever means. So don't be afraid. You're going to be paid. The very first 2 weeks of starting school.
Yeah. I think it was Mauli who was asking that question about the pay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
You'll be
Mauli.
paid. Yeah, you'll be paid. And I think I just want to add up. So my take is coming in, making sure your base is strong before you start supporting back home. And also the issue with sharing and being comfortable. Then I also wrote with the law. I have learned a lot in this few years that I've been here. I mean, Mr. Lassie and the two of you are always aware, because I always call and ask questions. What do I need to do? What will I have to say if you are stopped by police? What? And people, one thing we must all remember and know is America is independent. Every state is independent. So the laws, one law in one state does not streamline or cross the other states.
Yeah.
So you must learn your local, wherever you will be, whether you're going to be in Polk County, you're going to be in Florida, you're going to be in Miami. Please make sure you know the laws that pertain in that area. The basic ones, because number one, you are a teacher. You'll be teaching, you'll be driving to school. So know the driving rules. Then also know the rules that govern the teaching, your job. They'll always tell us how you don't have to, because here, one thing I realize is the definition of even sexual harassment is different. It's totally different. So even the words, the vocabs you use with somebody, even if you don't know and you use certain vocabs, or looking at a student, hey, you look good, you look hot. That person may interpret it in a different way.
Yeah.
So you need to be very cautious.
Yeah.
I mean, be culturally, exposed.
Sensitive. Yeah.
I mean, we call it cultural competence or something like that.
Yes.
Those of us who did psychology and management, you have to be culturally competent in order to be able to communicate the right vocabs to your student.
Exactly.
Or else you get yourself into trouble. I mean, I shared this on a video one of the days that a teacher has already been sent home. I mean, if you is aware, he went and smacked a child. You know how back home we call it
Yeah,
2 fingers.
two
He
fingers.
did
Why are you
fingers.
doing this?
Never, never,
Yeah,
Never touch
he
them, man.
never.
never put
He
your
did
hands
that.
on him. No child. Please
He's
don't.
at home. Another teacher had a problem giving his own personal laptop to a student, and there were things that there shouldn't be on it.
Mm.
Adult.
Mm.
And the students, the parents rose up in arms.
Mm.
He nearly lost his job in Georgia. He nearly lost his job. It was by grace that he was saved.
And somebody brought in for experiment, I think in a chemistry experiment, I think
Yeah.
the person brought in alcohol,
Mm.
Yeah.
regular alcohol,
Yeah.
Wow.
not
that.
not the ethanol, not the one from the shops. I mean the one you drink.
Yeah.
Brought it for experiment. I mean, he was fired.
Wow.
You don't bring
Never.
alcohol to the building.
Into a school
You need
building.
to a school building. It wasn't. He was coming to use it for experiment, but it said no. You need to request. You put in a request. I mean requisition. Let it go through that. You are buying it and bringing it so the school is aware.
Wow.
But you don't carry it and say I have no.
You are coming to use it for experiment.
No.
Like how
No. Not back home. You bring your own. No. You if the kids get to know. Yeah, you should go to the pharmacy and buy the regular. That means 70% alcohol, 90%. Those ones for experiment. Yes, that one is medicinal, clinical alcohol. But if you bring those vodka thing, you are coming no. Bringing vodka to school for experiment, no. What? Who knows what you do with it after?
With it after that. And which child may taste it on your
Yes.
backside or your blind
Yes,
side?
and he was
That's
happy
trouble.
showing them, yeah, I got this alcohol. The next moment he had a call from the intercom calling him. I mean, fired. And
Mr.
here the principals have the right to fire you immediately
Oh,
and
yes.
Oh
hire
yes.
you. So
Yes.
That way.
no bureaucracy.
And Mr. Philip Omari said he's glad to have missed. Yes, you shouldn't have missed this session because we are talking. In fact, this is just the initial one. We are going to do another roundtable to do deeper discussions, taking topic by topic, and we are going to give you examples, a lot of examples.
Yeah.
Mr. Jordan said has a lot. Look, teachers who have come and they don't have anywhere to sleep and they are standing in the cold.
Yeah.
People who are I mean, a lot of troubled issues. Mr. Selassie have dealt with a lot of them already. And we are also helping and doing our best. We don't want people to walk into this situation. This is a nice program. By the grace of God, the attrition level and the teacher shortage is still high. It's going to be there for some time. People are going to use this opportunity to come here and go to other countries as well. We don't want to mess it up. And that is one thing I'll also add, that please, as you are coming, one of the mistakes, do not come and start be talking about, as Mrs. Selassie said, a green card, a citizenship. No, you've not even gotten there. Relax. Focus on your workplace success. Be successful.
First. Yeah.
Be successful in it first. Then the rest will follow. Other doors will open. Those things we talk about them back door. We don't talk about them in the open. Even in our culture, we know that. Even they'll tell you, oh, we want to go and see the old people to hear their advice. So we don't talk about everything in the open. So please relax as you come in. Mrs. Selassie, there is one question I'll ask you.
Yeah.
What about credit card mistakes?
All right.
Right.
I
Before
think
you go to
did do
credit
that.
card mistakes, that's financial. So let me comment on this before you go to
Yes.
credit card
Go
mistakes.
ahead.
I think touching the kids is one of the things that we should avoid as much as possible. If the child's head is on the table and you want to draw his attention to it, you do not tap the child.
Good.
Just knock on the table
Good.
for any person, or you can even ask another student.
Yeah.
They can touch them. I mean, another student, hey, tap him and ask him to get up. That's fine. But you, the teacher, you don't touch that student. And
Good.
another thing is also when police pulls you over.
Mhm.
Okay. Sometimes we don't reading the law, we don't understand it. Anytime you're driving and a police van is behind you and with the light blue and red on, and you see it from your rear mirror, first thing is to pull over to the right, park, and keep your hands on the steering. Don't move.
And this one,
do not mhm.
this one
do
applies to,
not walk out.
yeah.
Do not get out of the car like we do in Africa, Ghana. Hey, police, why you stop me? Why? No, do not
Oga
do that. Oga police, what now? What you need? No, they don't. That's none of your. They will tell you, sit in the car, get
Actually,
back into the
Johnny,
car.
not to cut
Yeah.
you. You may not be
Don't
supposed to
do
sit in the
anything.
car.
Keep your
In
hands
most
on the
cases,
steering.
you may be shot.
Don't go to your glove compartment to pick anything.
No.
If he
no.
asks you of your license and your
Very right.
registration and you don't have it close by, tell him it's in my glove compartment. Can I reach for it? Then he says, okay, yes. So he's looking at you because he has a body camera and his hand, as he's talking to you, his hand is on his gun.
Exactly.
As he's talking to you, the hand is on the gun on the side. So you tell him that okay, you want to reach for it. He knows you reach it out, you give it to him. Don't overly excessively argue with this police officer. There was an example where we went for this African leadership program. I think we went for this police. You were there, Selassie. And there was this one, my guy was like, he was pulled over in Atlanta or something like that. And you know, as we're doing in Nigeria, they do in Nigeria and Ghana. He said he got out from the car. He was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not." He said, "Get back into the car." He said, "Oh, I want to talk." He said, "No, get back." Then he told him, "Look, in our country we wet." I said, "No, here you are threatening them."
Yeah.
God, they don't know what you have in your hands.
Yeah.
You are threatening them. So get back in your car as much as possible. And again, to win the confidence and the trust of the kids during their games, try to be there. Sometimes uninvited. Go there. Immediately they see you there, they're happy. Oh, you came to my game? Good.
Yeah.
When they invite you to come to the games, go to the games. Yeah, just go there. And also opportunities are open, like coaching. You can imagine I'm a soccer coach, you know. Yeah, and I'm proud because my kids are winning a lot of, it's like
A lot of
games, you know.
Wow.
Here back in my new place. I'm doing great. So last I'm better than you now.
Retired player.
So take up coaching. He's going to pay you. It's more like a side. They're going to pay you for that. It keeps you healthy, keeps your mental health very good. I think we'll talk about mental health later. Let's write it down. We'll talk about how to keep your mental health. Here, so that you don't get overwhelmed by certain things. Yeah, we'll look at that. So I think those are the few things I wanted to chip in, so that people coming in, and as they are coming, we'll have time for them. Those who have had interviews already have gotten schools. I think those we can have a section for that specific group. And we'll talk to them so that they'll be successful here. The mistakes that we made when we got here, I don't think they have to make it. Because in the United States, if you make one mistake, it takes you forever to correct it. So we don't, as he's going into credit card thing, it's one of the things that you can.
Mr. Johnny, before you go, I want to touch on those who come into the southern region. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Jacksonville.
Yes.
You normally hold a session for youth every year. So maybe you want to touch on that briefly and so you can be aware like that.
That's good. I think my friend Asari Frank is watching. I wish he could be here to also share his experiences. So that is good. One thing is when we come, I think a year or two ago, myself, Frank Asari, and Benedict and Mr. Rexford Anochi. And the four of us had and Selassie was there. So we had a section for the new teachers that had come in to explain to them what they should expect in the classrooms. I was a very interesting moment where we have to share our experiences with them. I think that is important for you to know that you are not alone. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm the only one being affected. But if people tell you their stories, you begin to feel that, hey, it's not like I'm a bad teacher.
Exactly.
It's what is happening in most of the classrooms. So you are not bad at all. You are doing what you got to do to sustain, to survive in that classroom. So we do that. So those of them who will be coming hopefully into the South Carolina, some of them came from North Carolina, and some of them also were from I think basically those are the regions that we had this conversation with. So when they come in, if we have the chance, we'll as well try as much as possible to look at that, and also to let them know that in the South Carolina, we have a Ghanaian community,
Hmm.
of which I am the president.
Good.
And with that experience,
Me
at
too.
least we try
Me
as
too.
much as possible. Yeah,
Me
my
too.
Jimmy too. We try as much as possible to bring them on board and also explain to them what they are expected to do. Because sometimes accommodation, some
Hmm.
came, they called me. I wasn't even in South Carolina then. I have to call some people back in South Carolina to let them know that, okay, can you help this person out? Can you let him have a play? And they the rapport I've established with most of them, immediately I pick a phone and call them quickly. They are ready to help. So coming in building rapport is very important. Don't be isolated and share your problems.
Good.
Share the problems. Don't feel alone. Share them, because if you share them, somebody's going to also augment or corroborate with what you have said and say, hey, what you are saying is true. I experienced the same thing. And that eases that pressure on you.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes that pressure away and feel like, hey, you are doing quite well. You're doing
Yeah.
quite well. We have all gone through it. My first day was not easy. I'd wanted to go back. I had to send emails to my principal thanking her for. I was scared. I thought they were going to fire me because I was so overwhelmed by
Yeah.
the kind of things this student were doing. I was like,
Mm.
what am I even doing here?
Exactly.
Okay.
Uba
Do I,
bad.
but yeah, dang. Do I have to go back? I told all these guys I'm going abroad, and I come back and like, you couldn't stay. I mean,
I know.
all this, you couldn't stay. So share your problems. And when I started talking to other people, I had a very good friend, a Cameroonian friend, who was with me, and it's like we share a lot.
A lot.
Okay, we share a lot. So told her, hey, it's going to be good. You can do
Adapt.
this. Yeah.
A lot
So
of
that's it.
a lot of the African brothers were coming in from Cameroon, from Sierra Leone, from
Yeah.
Cape. In fact, we have everybody.
Yes.
Mr. Johnny, all of us, we have friends with. I have
Everybody. Yeah.
people, Kenyans, Zimbabwe, all the African countries. So you are not going to be isolated. And as Mr. Johnny said, the association is very strong. We show you around the shops, the places to get Ghanaian foods, and access to certain basic stuff. So don't feel like you are living an island. No, people have walked the path. Nigerians will say, follow who know road. So follow who
Mm-hmm.
know road, enter, follow the one who know the road. And at least you have your starter pack ready. The starter pack is very important. If you don't have, look, Mr. Johnny, you were saying you wanted to go, but even I cried in class there after the class, and the tears were just flowing. I'm like, what am I doing here? Who asked me to come here? You'll be overwhelmed. You feel it. Your mental health will break down because in the night, sometimes at 1 a.m. I wake up. I'm like, what am I going to teach? It's not that I don't know what to teach. It's not that the calculus I don't know. It's not that the algebra I don't know. But how to reach these students was a problem. It was like you are talking to a wall, and
Yeah.
no one was listening. In fact, they don't care about you in the first place. So, but with the guidance from Mr. Salazar, from you yourself, I've been calling you. I will call them, we'll talk, and I eased. In fact, a lot of those conversations eased my mind a little bit. In fact, it helped a lot, and I changed the whole concept. And moving down here was a blessing for me, and pressure came down. And luckily for me, my family was around, so
Yes.
that's one of the things that were helping us. So people should be rest assured as you come in.
Their support. Yeah.
The support is there. Rexford, before Mr. Fiano comes in with the credit card mistakes, Rexford is asking a question about how much of it, the time, if you have like 2 hours. Mr. Rexford, you don't have a period of 2 hours here. You are not going to teach for 2 hours.
Oh no. The longest we would have is 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half.
That my time was less than 50 minutes. Yes, my time was less than 50 minutes. I was supposed to deliver do introduction, do the body, do assessment, all within that same time. Because I was doing 7 periods in a day, 7. So it was short. It was like 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. So you don't have the luxury of time of 2 hours. Even here, it's 90 minutes, right? That's the maximum you can have. You cannot have more than that. So you have to manage it. How much time do you use for class? Classroom management is a continuous process. For me, that's what I would say. It starts from the very time the kids are walking to your class. You stand by the door, welcome them to your class. That is where the classroom management starts. So you don't have the luxury of there's a set time for classroom management. No, there is no set time for classroom management.
It's part of your lesson.
It's part of your daily behavior. You yourself, as you are working home, you are managing the children in your mind.
You even manage yourself. You finally manage yourself in it.
Absolutely.
So the rest for that is the answer for you. Then also Catherine was asking that, what about a nurse who is already here? You said you came here with you are a nurse. I don't know. I'm just looking for the message. What is there for a nurse from Ghana currently on a visit in the USA? Catherine, let's talk after the program. All right, it will be ending very soon. So send me a WhatsApp. Go to the page, send me a WhatsApp, and just mention your name, Catherine, and let's talk. I can link you to some 1 or 2 people who will guide you as to what to do if you really want to work in the United States. Is that okay? Yes, a lot of nurses friends are here, and they will help you.
And
Okay.
Selassie, there's one thing too, as those coming in should also understand that unlike the Ghana systems where if you have a lesson at 11 o'clock, you go to work at 10:30, you finish your lesson, you pack your things and go home. I'm sorry for you. It doesn't work like that. It's not like that. You go to work every day. You spend 8 hours at work.
Exactly.
You go to work at, if you're starting my current play, I start work at 7:10. I leave work, my ends at 3:10. I clock in at 7:10, I clock out at 3:10. And in that situation, if I have an extra like coaching, I stay on until 4:30 before I leave the school. Okay. So there's nothing like you walk in, do your stuff and go. No. So prepare your mind from wherever you can. And you are coming to work 5 days in a week.
Yep.
8 hours. That 40 is 40 hours, right? You have to make the 40 hours in a week.
40 hours a week.
Yeah. So they should embrace themselves with that information. Either you definitely have something to do. There's there's no free time for everyone. You have planning hours, which one of the planning period is even used for meetings. So you should be aware that you are coming to work in a classroom. And the working is like that. My current school, we have what we call opening, work session, and closing. Opening should not be more than 10 minutes.
All right.
Closing or closure should not be more than 10 minutes.
Okay.
The rest of the time is for the kids.
Okay.
So you at the opening, if it's a video you are watching, maybe it's just like a 5-minute video. Now you use the rest of the 5 to explain to the student what they are supposed to be doing. Yeah. Explain to the kids what they are supposed to be. Okay, go on to the iPad, go here, look at this information. I want you to click on that, and I want you to work in groups. And you're going to use 20 minutes to work on it. Then we'll come back and discuss. So the chunk of the work, the talking is left, it's not on you. Yeah, that is what they should understand. So the strategy of teaching should change. Yeah, strategy of teaching where they copy notes, write down notes, the whole 30 minutes they are right. No, it's boring. Or they stand in front of the kids and talking about their life, talking about this, talking about. No, it's going to be boring. So you talk, and you have to vary your teaching strategies. Yeah, the strategy has to be in one particular lesson. You can employ like 5 teaching strategies. Yeah. If they are writing for like 5 minutes. After writing for 5 minutes, do some activities. When they finish, maybe they do in a way that they are having variety of things to do. Or if it's one way and your teaching goes in that direction, they have already predicted you.
Exactly.
So either they come and they are not paying attention to you because that's the same thing you're going to be doing. Okay, so those are the things that especially those who have had opportunity of coming in hopefully this year, when we meet, we'll let them understand. And one thing finally, driving, please.
Somebody is
They
even
should know how to drive before they come.
somebody is even asking a question: if you don't have a license, will you be denied or your
No.
application stage? I think
Yes,
I
it's one
think
of the requirements.
I think phases is now dropping. If you don't have a license, they drop you straight up.
Yes.
That is one thing. Let me chip in this before. Maybe you can tell me better. I think phases is now also they brought the law of the young kids. You were telling me the last.
Yes. I think there was one thing I experienced with them when I was, I've been in close touch with them. I worked for them sometimes, helping them understand. Sometimes they ask me to come and, verify, licenses, whether it is um genuine or not, because some of our people fake stuff. So I've been
Yes,
called a
so
couple of
yeah.
times to
Hey,
say, hey John, can you help assist us in
we
looking
can
at all
go.
these things here? And one good thing, as I said, I have to build a rapport with them so that
Mm.
when I'm recommending someone to them, they know the quality of,
Quality.
I'm
Yeah.
recommending to them. So those of them that have used me as references, please don't let me down, please and please. Yeah. And
Not the fake
with
document.
yes, no fake document, because the year I came, the first very after the year after, Ghana
Mhm.
was put on a blacklist, okay,
Wow.
from Faces, because
Wow.
no application was coming from Ghana, and the reason being that somebody used a fake document,
Mm.
like license,
Mm.
driver's license. You went to scan it and put something there and brought it in. So when they found out, they blocked Ghana.
Mm.
So I was fortunate to come through, and the year after me, they blocked it. So if you remember, the year after me, there was no Ghanaian that came.
Wow.
Yeah, no Ghanaian came through Faces. They came through but from Faces there was no Ghanaian coming through that section.
Mm.
So it is one thing we need to pay attention to. Genuine, go and get a license. Driver's license is a requirement. You should, after getting a license, don't just go and secure a license and you don't knowing how to drive. Please know how
Exactly.
to drive. Here, there's no one going to be driving you around. So you have to, from day one, you have to drive your own car and be able to navigate around here.
Mm.
So basically, those are some of the things that is very important for us to
Mm.
have to
Yeah.
be successful. Yeah, I don't
So
know if that was a question. Yeah,
Sylvester,
yeah,
Sylvester, you have to answer. You need a driving license.
yeah. You need a
It
driver's license.
is not for fun that they ask you to have it.
Yes, and the
You
faces thing, the kids. I think this year or last year, they are trying to bring an interface, like, if especially if you are the applicant, not a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the applicant, like the females, and you have a child less than 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
not that they deny your application, but they will put your application on hold until the child is 4 years and above.
Oh,
I think when I asked them, the reason was that childcare is quite expensive.
wow.
Uh-huh. And here, if the childcare is expensive, it takes a lot of
Yeah,
time,
income.
income, and also it puts stress on you.
Are you the teacher?
Yeah, on the teacher, because you have to pay for childcare and also have to prepare for a lesson, and kids are bothering you, worrying you even at home and all that. So I think they brought it up because there has been a lot of complaints. I don't think they would have done that. So a
Principal.
colleague of mine was denied because the child was below 4 years.
Wow.
I tried as much as to advocate. I went high, called the director, the CEO, and spoke to him about it. And was like, this is not fair,
Mm.
because it should be part of your documentation. However, it was like, this is the experience they've had. So they are not denying the person anyway, but they are putting it on wait till the child is 4 years, then they can bring the person here. But if it's a male who has a wife, who has a child who is, I mean, because you are not going to be doing that, the wife is going to be helping out and all. So you have an opportunity more than you being a female having a child below that. So phases, when you are applying and you put there that you have a child below 4 years, they put it on hold. So
Wow.
if you are not hearing from them, maybe they've not communicated that to you. Ask
Mm.
yourself whether or not you have a child who's 4 years and below, especially the women. If it is, then it's going to be, they will
So
allow you come in, but it will take a while.
So those of you who are experiencing delays from hearing from faces in particular,
Yeah.
maybe this is one of the reasons. Because I guess the principals have complained, because if you have a little
Yeah.
child, you will constantly be taking days off school. And here they don't want you to be taking days off school because
Yeah.
my principal will tell you it's a lot of job for one teacher to be absent in a school.
Yeah.
It has to take a whole community to be able to fill that space for that job to go on. So it's a worry for some of the principals nowadays, that especially if you are pregnant, because in my school, for instance, we had at a point we had about 3 people who were on maternity leave.
Yeah.
And they had to fill those keys have to still learn.
Yeah. Substitute.
So if it happens like that, the principal will be reluctant in bringing you. Yes, it's good to bring your family, but let's work it out in a systematic way. Yeah.
Even if you are pregnant, you know, if you need, it's part of, if you are pregnant, they will not. I mean,
Wow.
because it's people don't get it because they think, oh, they are denying you from reaching coming to that. It's not the stress you go through, pregnancy stress alone. You
The
cannot
cost
have
of
time for the kids. Yeah, they are bringing you here because of the kids. So if you are, they will not.
wow.
I'll go ahead and give a typical example.
Yeah.
I have a Jamaican female teacher in my school.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. I have a Jamaican female teacher in my school who just went on maternity leave, I think 3 weeks ago. Now, it is that bad because most schools tend to give you 12 days in a school year for you to be absent or have those days as personal days
Okay.
or sick days for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So she didn't even take any days. She was still coming to work very pregnant, all of that to the very T where she had to put to bed. Now, the unfortunate thing is because she has already elapsed at 12 days,
Mhm.
which is just basically 2 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah.
And that happened about 3 weeks ago. Now they are ducking her pay.
Wow.
You have a child here, and listen to the dynamics. You have a child here now, already has 2 children in the school system. Fine, they don't pay school fees, but you drive fuel to take them to school and back because they don't live in the exact zip code where you are employed.
Yeah.
2, you have a husband who just arrived not too long ago who's not employed. You have a child who now you have to care for childcare and pay health insurance extra because, quote and unquote, the agencies bring you here on a certain type of insurance. I don't want to go into that part of the insurance, but that insurance in itself and the childcare, it's not enough. You're gonna have to buy more. Now, when you buy extra, that's an extra duck on your pay. Then, to make it worse, your employer is ducking your pay simply because your 12 days is elapsed and you are now eating into theirs. So every single day you stay home, the salary is cut. This is the ramifications. So it is not necessarily sexist or against women or pregnant women for that matter, but please understand it is just the way the system is designed and the dynamics. It takes a toll on you. It's better you come in, you've done 1 year, and in the midst of it, you get pregnant. That's different. That's different. You have accumulated 12 days from first year, have accumulated another 12, possibly in the second, which gives you enough time. And your spouse, the husband, may also, at that point, be a little more flexible and working because he has spent a little more time in the system as a J2 dependent of you, the principal applicant J1. So it allows a little more flexibility. But right there at the beginning, and this is her first year. She started just like that, and before the first year is over. So now, whatever she has done, it also puts questions in the principal's mind. Do I retain her? Do I not? Because now that childcare in the first year, she's going to be taking days off a lot. So the twist never change. It keeps going on and on and on and on. But that's the downside of it. So that's how that part
I think
plays out.
that is what I'm saying. So those who are experiencing such delays, just be aware that your situation may be because of such issues. Maybe you have a younger child. I mean, they allow you to upload the passport of your children and everything, the details. So probably they pick it from there that, oh, you have a kid that is less than 2 years. So it may impact. I mean, even if they give you the go ahead, maybe the US embassy may, look at that situation and say, look, you cannot go and work because you are a new person in this country. How are you going to juggle between childcare and going to school? The main reason why they brought you here. So I think it's a fair point. Mr. Fiano, I want you to throw more light on the credit card mistake because I think it's one common thing running through now that a lot of people experience. Yes. So if you can throw a little light on it, what do you think? Or what are
Okay. First and foremost, my African people, I beg you in the name of God, when we get here, let's stop doing conversions. Immediately we get here, I've done it. Don't get me wrong. I've done it. Anything I'm telling you, I know you have done it because I've probably also done it. So I'm just sharing personal experiences, and I'm going to tell you the downside of it.
They'll be holding the calculator in the shop. Then they'll calculate for $5 times 12 in Ghana.
And 50 Ghana, and 50 Ghana
egg for 60 Ghana. How?
Nobody, no.
You know, those days when I was before you go on, when I went to barber my hair, they charged me $25, and I converted it in that time. I'm like, how can I barber my hair for 125 Ghana? Why? Where am I going?
Because
I understand you. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, but I guess it is one of the things that also comes naturally. Most people can stop; they will do it without us. But you have to understand at this point, you don't earn in Ghana cedis anymore. You are not even a businessman who buys from here and takes to Ghana to sell. If that's what you're doing, that's different. But you earn here, most of your expenses will be here. So the purchasing power and the spending capacity is here. So things are priced with respect to this market. So, for instance, you go to an African shop. Remember, African shop has now become a foreign food. So don't forget, whatever you were buying in Ghana, on the flip end, just like Apple was foreign in Ghana, you pay very expensive for an apple in traffic. It's the same way that yam has become foreign in America. So you will pay the shipping and everything and the container, everything. So don't be surprised when that yam is $25, $30 and you're converting and say, hey, buy it about 300 cedis. No, it just means it has gone through all that foreign food is on the shelves. Somebody had to take care of that process for you to make it here. So that being said, now in America, basically a lot of things, yes, if you have the cash, beautiful, you can do a lot of things. But the credit card, the credit system is the system the country has put in place to create transactional history and transactional trustworthiness from institutions to individuals and from institutions to other businesses. And when I say institutions, I'm referring mainly to the banks. Now, it is their way of finding out if we can trust you with money. You know how to manage your finances, your inflows and your outflows, just like any business. When money comes in as an income, you use it for multiple things. You pay bills, car payment, electricity, water, and all of that. Now, when you get in America and you say, oh, maybe I'm in PECA, I don't like debt. So I'll just use my debit card every now and then to pay all my bills, and I won't worry about credit card because I don't want to deal with debt. What you are doing is, and I'll give you a typical example. I have another example of a friend who went through that and what the ramifications became 6 years down the line for her on her H1. Before that, what you are literally saying is that I don't need the debt. I'll do everything cash. But you are not leaving footprints enough to justify a banking institution giving you money to either buy a house or buy a car. And when I say a car, brand new car, not the first 1 year when you come and you buy your Savage where you can pay a little 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. All of that came out of your pocket. So that's fine. But down the line, maybe life has gotten better for you. You want to do a few upgrades, which is normal. Sometimes a car of your dreams you may want to buy, it may cost you 25,000, 30,000. But financially, it doesn't make sense in America to carry all that 30,000 and 20,000 and go and drop for a car dealership and say, give me my dream car, Toyota ABC, or give me my Toyota Camry 2021 for 25,000. Absolutely not. I'll give you two reasons. One, that money you could have put into something that generates a monthly cash flow for you to pay the car payment. In that way, at the end of 5 years or 6 years, when you are paying the car monthly payment, at the end of that 5 years, you have the car. 2, your 20,000-30,000 is still sitting there. Now, this is not an economy where inflation moves too fast, where it takes away or erodes the purchasing power of money. So most likely the money will still have its value 6 years down the line. You have the money and you have your car, 2 ways. Otherwise, if you had gone to give the whole money to the car dealership, they'll give you the car, you own it, but the car, at that point, you have lost 30,000 off your personal pocket. You don't have any debt on it, but you are still going to pay taxes anyway a year, depending on the county you are in, because it's now it's now considered an asset on your books. So please, it is just prudent that you take a loan and then you buy, but you should have had some type of cash ready. Going to buy in the car, you know, oh, I have some type of cash I could have used to make a down payment. This is why most people think in America, oh, because you would pay a certain down payment if you like. If you don't like, you go zero. And then you make car payments every month. At that point, they have leverage on your income. So every month you work, even if it's 300 or 350 or 400, they collect it from your paycheck and give it to the dealership, okay, through your bank. All right, so that's how that works. Now, credit card is also just like that, but this time around, it's a bank account, and they give you a card for it, just like it works anywhere in the world. And the bank says the account is sitting with me. So, for instance, Bank of America, you come in after about 2-3 months, apply for it, or 6 months, apply for it. Let them give you one. They will give you an amount which is probably small, but it's not bad. That's how the whole system is. It starts you small because, once again, you are high risk. We don't know you.
Yes.
Let us get to know you. Show us who you are, and then we'll give you more.
Okay.
So you collect maybe 2,000. That's what normally you don't decide. They will decide based on your income, a few other things like how long you've been in the system to determine that. So based on that, they'll issue you a credit card. It just means that you now have an account opened at Bank of America in your name that says $2,000 is in there as a loan. You can spend anytime you want to. Most often they add a perk to it and say it is interest free for 18 months or 15 months. Reason is because they're saying you have a year and a half with no interest. So even if you blow the 2,000 all within the first 15 months or 18 months and you pay back, there is no interest you are paying back on that 2,000. However, I'm not suggesting that you go blow all with the mentality that what you 2,000 until you blow it, because there are rules to the credit system. Try to use at most 30 to 35% of that 2,000 only. Now, I say this also because use it for grocery shopping. Show track record that you are using it for your spending, gas, restaurants, but whatever you do, make sure you have your cash on the flip end to pay back either at the end of the month or you pay back within a certain period of time within that 15 months of interest rate. If you exceed the 15 or 18 months of interest rate, an interest will start accruing if the amount is less than 2,000 in the account.
Mr. Fiano, some people are saying they can't hear your voice well. So I don't know but I can hear you. We can hear you very clear. I don't know.
Yeah, Mr. Fiano is an American now. He doesn't open his mouth that wide.
American. Oh Lord, I thought I was clear enough.
You were actually, but I think those on the other line, on the other side, we're not hearing it.
Back home, the phones we use and all that. So maybe I've been hearing you well. But some people are saying clear. But you see, I think we must do a session on the financial.
Yeah, separate. Yeah.
Do a session on the mental health, as Mr. Johnny.
Yes, I think so.
And with that, the mental health, I will bring in. I think we can do that mental health next week. Because it's something that is very important. Then we do the financial literacy probably the following week.
The week after,
yeah.
That works.
Because we need these things you are teaching us, we need a whole session on it. Because look, most of us made these mistakes. We came in, we wanted, I was just applying for the credit cards because you came to America. They say the credit system is what will sustain you. But some of the companies were giving me $500. Some of the companies were giving me 1,000.
1,000.
Like, why? Because I thought they would give you money.
And you spend, you blow it.
Those people, those people who waited for like 6 months, 8 months,
6 months.
they
got
applied
4, 3,
like
5.
$2,000.
Yeah.
You know, so I realized that one mistake I made was I applied too early. I rushed into the system. I'm still a high risk as at the time because they don't know you. You don't have any record with them. And this is credit card. If from what you're saying, it's basically like a free money in quotes, because you've not worked for it. It's not a loan to you. So they are saying, okay, we want to trust you with $2,000. Use it and pay us back, and let's see how you are. I mean, we can trust you with that 2,000. So I mean, I think this principle is basically a biblical principle.
Yes.
For those who have given little, I mean, they expect, like the principle of the sower. When he was traveling, he gave talents to these people to work with. He came back. The one who sowed, who had a lot, multiplied it and said, "Look, master, I've multiplied it." But the one who had little says, "Oh, I mean, this is too small." So he went and hid it somewhere. So if they give you $500 and you just blow it and you put the cash somewhere, you are doomed for life, because it's going to affect you. The ripple effect.
Yes.
That's, hey, you are not credit worthy. They give you even $500. You could even maintain it. You could even play with it and keep it well. You have blown it. No, it means we cannot even trust you with even 2,000, because we trusted you 500. You couldn't manage it.
It didn't come back.
And I think another thing is the credit thing. When they come in, as we said, we have godfathers that give advice. Don't if anyone got your credit card, yeah, those kind of things. I think one good advice too, if the person has enough money to transact physical cash with all that, fine. But here's the case: the person is going to be using credit history. You have to build it. The credit you are going to collect, it's not like even to spend it and that's it. It is a way to have a credit history, build a credit history to know that, okay, here there's no human vouching for anything. Like, okay, like in Ghana, minimum wage, let me sign this to going to collect money from the bank. Then somebody will endorse it for you, have 3 guarantors and all that. I mean, doing that. Yeah, it's not like that. So you before they can advance money to you, you need to have something to prove that you are capable of paying back your loans. Okay, so you take that 500, it's fine. You can build your credit with $500. You use and pay, you use and pay, you use and pay, you use and pay. I said, by the time you realize you have about, a credit, point of about 800 and all that, you can apply in for something. And as he's talking about, he's going to explain it, because the fact that you have a credit point of about 800 doesn't mean you can secure certain facilities. It doesn't mean that you can secure it. You have to look at how you were able to use those credit. Either you have on a car loan before, on a mortgage or something. Somebody who has a car loan before has a higher chance of being securing a certain amount of loan than you who's just using it for groceries and all that. Because those are the things that Selassie will speak on and all that. It is very important. We shouldn't be scared.
I know we have to schedule it. I don't know your time. I know everybody have a very tight schedule. So I will need to speak, viewers, I will need to speak with Mr. Fiano. Then we decide on which day he'll be available, and we need this education, seriously. Working, knowing what to do, not being scared, because some of us were scared of credit card. Some of us also were so informed that we wanted it so quickly. So in a which way, it could throw you off balance. Because you need to have the right information, working at the right time, and know who to even apply to. It's not all the credit companies that are worthy that you need to apply to. Some of them don't even build any credit for you. You know, so these are things. I mean, and he's going to talk about other things, other investment opportunities that are here that you need to take advantage of. I mean, I've been a student. I'm his student, one of his students, and I know Mr. Johnny too is one of his students, and we are all learning. We
Oh
learn
no.
here, you know. Mr. Fiano is well resourced and he's a solid, both science and financial mindset. You know, the system you come in, you learn. I mean, you learn through the system. So I think we've taken a lot of time. I mean,
Yeah.
those of us back home, we have free internet, so it's like we forget ourselves sometimes.
Forgive us.
Forgive
Forgive
us.
us.
Forgive us. Those of you who are watching, please forgive us. We've taken a lot of your time. And I know the informations we have shared here are very deep and very important. I saw Mr. Frank also putting in his view on one of the
Yes.
things, telling us
Oh,
that,
okay.
I mean, if you come here, show appreciation. Very little things people do for you. Very appreciative. I mean, this is one of the mistakes. It's a top mistake, not appreciating things people do for us. I mean, we have a lot of stories around this appreciation issue alone. Gratitude. Showing gratitude is very, very important, no matter how small. Even if the person comes to pick you from the airport, even if the person called you and sent you $100, so
Yeah.
use it to buy groceries for the week.
Yeah.
It's very important that you show appreciation, you know, and know where to and where, also know when and where to have conversations, because
Yep.
the people here hardly keep secrets.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. They don't. Their head is not like ours that we are storing things in it. They say it's free. Oh, Mr. Fiano said, oh, he likes me. Damn,
They
really?
talk to you more, they talk that more than we do.
Then you are gone. So know where that is what we are saying in Ghanaian times. Anytime I'll be akasa. And he said, keep act professional.
Yeah.
And remember, none of these kids are your friends.
Yeah.
Once you feel that are close to you, will be the one to betray you. And I think that's a very important point. The children are your friends.
Yeah.
They
You
are
can be friendly by your day. You can be
friendly, but they are not your
your
friends.
friend. Yeah.
That is one thing. I mean, Mr. Johnny, will have another session where we talk about classroom management mainly and the relation we build with these kids. I think the things we need to talk about is a lot. It's just that the time is not there. I mean, when the week starts, it's like a rat race. All of us are running around trying to do everything.
Make ends meet.
We
Make
apologize
ends meet.
they're not coming in forthly, but as the year gets to an end, people are getting, the pressure is coming down. So we'll be having more of these conversations and more of these sessions, and we'll go deeper. We'll go deeper on the classroom. What happens in the classroom on a typical day? In fact, I have been looking for the permission to film in my school, but I've not gotten yet. I've not been granted yet, so I couldn't take the camera in to show people how really it works. I mean, it is not something we'll get there now, but in our own way, we will share. We need to share our stories, and we'll walk you through. We'll give you a vivid picture of how a typical day you are going to experience. I mean, we'll give you the good, the nice, and all the ugly ones.
I'll
So
do too.
prepared, and you know what we mean. You have your shock absorbers there before you come, because you need it. You need it. And I believe we want to use this opportunity. I don't know if you have any last words, very short words, so that we can close the
All right. I will say that I appreciate everyone here, and thank you all for joining the link and also contributing to what is going on. I think we are all learning, so we learn from people back home, and we also learn from us here. We are praying that those of you have the opportunities to be able to join us, and we are here to support, to give you all the necessary platform to be able to be successful. I'm very appreciative of Mr. Salasi, both Salasis. They have been very great friends to me, and also the opportunity granted to us by the United States for making us who we are today. Yeah, the opportunities are there. So by granting us this opportunity to be able to experience both sides, what goes on, and how to be able to improve upon ourselves and develop ourselves, is we are very thankful to this system. And to all our friends who have been supporting us, I mean, emotionally, physically, and financially, and everything, we are very thankful. And also to Mrs. Oting,
Passes.
Mrs. Oting, yes, providing the necessary watches and all that,
And playing the background.
and clearing the background for us to have this meeting,
Yes.
So we thank all of them. Yeah, it has been a wonderful section, and I hope we'll have another section like
We
this to
will.
share our
We-
experiences with you.
A lot of things have come up now, and I think we need to have sub-sessions on it. I mean, depending on our schedules, and even if we cannot have all of us do it together, I mean, we can do one-on-one. I can do one-on-one with Selassie at the time,
Mhm.
or I will drive down, then we meet and we
Yeah.
have it at the conference. We sit down, we talk. So I think we'll talk behind the scenes, and we
Absolutely. Yeah.
we'll structure
Okay.
that. Mrs. Selassie.
Thank you very much. I think my senior man Johnny has said it all. I'm grateful as well to be part of this, and we just want to make change in the lives of people. By the grace of God, they would take some of the things we've said. We know not all of them may be applicable in all cases, but
Yeah.
some are general, so they do work regardless, whatever scenario you find yourself in. And we're just appreciative of how far God has brought us in this country. It's not been easy. Most of you have been here. Even if you've been here for a year, I don't think it's still easy. If you've made it through a year, even 6 months, I think it means you just have a tough skin. You've gone through a lot. Everybody's experiences are not the same, but we're grateful for what this has offered us. Life-changing moments, life-changing opportunities. We say it is open. So those who really, really want this, stay hungry and motivated for it. And by the grace of God, we'll see you on this side soon.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Selassie. And thank you, viewers. Those of us watching on any of the platforms, we really appreciate your time. We know we've gone deeper into your time, but it is for the good. If you have time, take your time and listen, because we shared a lot of deep things, and this is just a starting. As the days come, we will take our time and break it down. We'll session them out bit by bit. We'll talk about the financial aspect. We'll talk about the law. We'll dealing with the police. We'll talk about dealing with security, dealing with so many, even dealing with child care in this country, even your own family. We'll be taking time to look at all these areas. And Mr. Johnny has very serious links. We can speak with very deep people. So if you stay tuned, share the page, encourage somebody to follow, and let's all travel right. We are saying let's travel right. This time the information is out there. Nobody's hiding it. We are not the grandfathers. We are not the custodians of any information. We are just putting it out there for everyone. And please remember, we are not immigration officers. We are not licensed to do any immigration services for anybody. We are not consulting. We are just sharing our experiences and our personal views on stuff and how we have experienced it and our personal knowledge. So this is not a license session where we are doing any counseling or anything. No.
Yeah.
Mr. Selassie is a science teacher. He is very knowledgeable in finance. He is not a licensed financial advisor or anything.
Not at all.
Chemistry, physics teacher. He's very knowledgeable in whatever he discusses. And I am also a math teacher. And we are just sharing our knowledge on the things and how we have experienced it. And just for you to tread cautiously and to walk in the right path. So as they say in Nigeria, follow who know road. Make sure you follow these pages and make sure you reach out. If you have any questions, you can send me. I will answer if I have the time. And we'll see how best. And those of you who are also waiting for your visas and all that are coming this year, please take your time. Listen to some of these things. Not only me, there's a lot of platforms, Choco's platform, Just Not Ask Nancy. In fact, Sister Nancy also spoke about some of these things in the German perspective. She's in Germany. In Germany. Just Ask Nancy. And in fact, this morning, was it this morning or I saw the video this morning? In fact, I was a little sleepy. and she did a video on the mistakes and some of the fallacies and the little things they do in Europe that is causing a lot of trouble for people. All right, and that is causing a lot of people to either make it or not to make it. So let's all open our minds, and be able to receive some of these teachings. I wish us all the best. Do not give up. The dream is not easy. These great men you are seeing didn't have it. In fact, they didn't just walk into the United States. It's a process. They had to do interviews. They had to do documentation filing. And even when it came, it's been a whole lot of process.
Yeah.
So viewers, do not think it just happened in a day. No, it doesn't happen in a day. Trust the process. Make sure you do things right and do things yourself, please. No agents. Do not use any unscrupulous agents in Ghana, registered agents from Africa. We beg you. So we wish you the best, Mr. Fiano. God bless you, Mr. Johnny. Thank you so much.
Big ups to Vikash, Mr. Vikans is on the line. Yeah. Now China Burger. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vikas, for watching. And all those who are watching behind the scenes, we appreciate you and we thank you. All right, so we'll have another time, and I'll be with you during the day again, and we'll see. Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice
All right. Bye to you all.
Bye.
Yeah. Good.